Live from beautiful downtown Bastrop, it's time for the Stage Select, starring Julian Titus and Justin Ham.
What could this possibly be? Seems a lot like a podcast. Wonder what specifically. Talking about video games. With your hosts, you're in good hands. Not more of the same. Now we'll jump right in. So expect the unexpected and more. Now we'll get groovin'. There ain't always gonna walk through the door. There just might be some strategy in this. Just having fun with a special guest. Time for Stage Select.
And here are your hosts, Julian Titus and Justin Ham.
I'm glad I caught
Welcome.
them. Oh, you're just going right into it. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. Go ahead.
Welcome, one and all, to the Stage Select. I'm Julian Titus.
I'm Justin Ham. Nice to be here.
Apparently, yes.
Yeah,
Apparently,
no,
very nice to be here.
It's great. It's
Yes.
really good. Yeah. Julian and I have been reminiscing about some Mason Diddy as
Yes.
of late. You know, the great country performer that we're all familiar with and know
Yeah.
exists.
One of the biggest country stars of the mid to late 90s.
Uh-huh.
It's a shame that he burned out so soon. But
Yeah.
I mean, he just lived kind of just too far to the edge, man. Like
Yeah.
he was like one of the edgiest country stars
Yeah.
of the time.
I mean, his boots had built-in rollerblades. I mean, that's
it
pretty
was
good.
Sick, man.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So it always looked like he was gliding around the stage. It was pretty good.
I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it was
and I was
hell of a show.
that was definitely when I was in my country phase. So
Right.
Mason Diddy hit pretty hard back then.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had like your Garth Brooks with his really safe lyrics, but then Mason Diddy, man,
Yeah.
like damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would talk about, burning down his own house because he didn't like it anymore,
Yeah,
and because it reminded him of
his ex-wife.
and the system.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah. Like,
yeah.
but see that you had to really like kind of read between the lines
Right.
to get that interpretation.
Yeah, that's
of it.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't do that.
Yeah, Mason Diddy worked on a lot of levels. Like
It really did. He really did.
Yeah.
He really did.
that's why people write his lyrics on their notebooks to this day.
Yeah. Or carve them in their flesh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Who hasn't been there?
Yeah, I mean, I think about carving his lyrics into my flesh on a daily basis.
Who doesn't? Who doesn't? It's what we do.
Listeners are like, what the fuck is going on?
No, it's
We're not
fine.
gonna- you just weren't there for Mason.
You just weren't there.
Diddy. We just like,
I don't think not many people were, honestly.
yes. So expect this type of
Yeah.
rhetoric for the rest of the episode, y'all.
Yeah.
But before we jump into things, I did want to take a little bit of time to mention a couple things. One, I was going to mention it last week, but I wasn't sure when the episode was going up. But you can now go listen to me on Games My Mom Found talking about Onimusha 3 Demon Siege. So that is available now. I thought he was going to release it later because I thought it was supposed to be part of his Spooktober stuff, but he might be doing the true work of October, which is that Halloween starts on September 1st. So he might actually be doing 2 months of scary game, horror adjacent games. Obviously, by Onimusha 3, it's even Onimusha 1 was barely horror related, but
Is that the true millennial thing where Halloween starts on September 1st? Is this a thing? Did I not get the memo for that one? I'm just curious.
I don't know if it's a millennial thing so much as it is a people who really love Halloween
Okay.
thing.
All right, fair.
And I'm definitely in that camp.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Even back when I was religious, Halloween was like the holiday that I actually wished I could. That was the only one that I wished that I could celebrate.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah.
care about Christmas or New Year's
Right,
or Thanksgiving, but Halloween was the thing. So yeah, I'm definitely September hits and I'm like, Oh yeah, no, it's time. Like I'm already this year, I can feel it. Where the last few years I have not been in like a mood for like horror anything.
Yeah.
But like I'm like, I'm ready for Terrifier 3 next month, and
oh boy,
been like A Smile 2 is coming out soon.
I did see that. Yeah,
yeah. There's some like body horror movie with Demi Moore coming out really soon that looks really good.
Okay,
yeah, like I might be at the theater, more often in the next month and a half or so. But yeah, so definitely check that out. And I thought I would also take this time to just like kind of shout out some of the people in our little corner of the internet for doing different things. So Bill over at Gamer Looks at 40 has just now officially wrapped up his 2-month sojourn into Final Fantasy VI as part of his Final Fantasy series. So a lot of good stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm supposed to meet with him next week to talk. He said to talk about 7 and 8. I got a lot of shit to talk about 7. I think it's very, very cute how he thinks that 6 is going to be the one that takes up the most episodes, when I have a feeling that most people are going to have stuff to say about 7.
7,
that's
yeah.
the one, right?
Depending on your age group, yeah.
Yeah. Even beyond your age group, you can't deny that that's the one that really alters the course of that franchise.
Seriously, yeah.
Forevermore.
Really, yeah. You're not wrong.
There's a lot to unpack there, so
yes.
I'm like, Bill, no, I can go for like 2 hours just on Final Fantasy VII, without repeating myself.
Right.
I don't know if we're gonna have time for 8 in that interview.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Well, you never know.
Yeah, and then Perfect Storm Gaming on YouTube. They just started their second season of their streams. They're getting bigger and better all the time. So go check them out over on YouTube.
Hell yeah.
Retrofits. Couple things. They started an Elden Ring playthrough.
Oh boy.
So that's going to be a lot of fun. I've watched a little bit of it. But the other big thing is that they started a Patreon.
Oh yeah, okay.
And I think it's going to be of particular note to certain listeners of this show, because if you enjoyed Justin's other podcast, This is Video Games, they are going to be doing what they do on Retrofits, but with porn games for Patreon. And
that's the way to go.
They're going to be releasing them for free, but highly edited on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to see like all the shit, which it's part of it is like, I think that it's going to be hard to like edit around certain jokes and things that happen,
right,
on YouTube. So you really do want to go on Patreon and get like the raw shit. But go check them out. I would like to add them as a recommendation on our page, but right now Patreon has it where you can't recommend stuff that has adult content.
Oh, well, there you go.
So that's a thing. But I'm recommending to you here on the show.
There you go.
Go check them out. And then, Eric Peacock of Soundtracker.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually just a PSA. He got this bullshit, like, takedown notice of his podcast because some dude that has, he does, like, ambiance tracks that he sells on like, iTunes. It's just, like, kind of relaxation music and nature sounds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he calls his business soundtrack, like, Soundtracker.
Okay.
And so, like, they're hitting Eric with like this like takedown thing that like,
oh god,
because like confusion in the marketplace or whatever.
Okay.
Now Eric has like reached out, like a lawyer like actually reached out, like, hey, no, I can take care of this for you and I'll do it pro bono.
Yeah.
So he might be good, but if Soundtracker goes away, he is going to continue doing the show through his Patreon.
Okay.
So, if you've checked out Eric's show in the past, but maybe you're not like a regular subscriber and you're like, oh, I wanted to go check out that show and it's not there anymore. It'll still be there on Patreon. So I just wanted to let people be aware of that. And then also Moses, the Well-Read Mage, it has a new series of his videos for Game Logica going up. And and now he's doing a thing where he takes a character from Final Fantasy VI and like kind of talks about where they would be in Dante's Inferno, like in the hell that's depicted in Dante's Inferno. So,
sure. That's fun.
His stuff is really like thought-provoking and cool. So definitely worth checking all of that out. We like to kind of throw a bone to the other people that we know and do good stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
Justin.
What?
You played video games.
I did. Yeah.
I played video games.
Okay.
You want to talk about some video games?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah. That's the show.
fuck me then.
Yeah, no, I did. I've mostly been playing Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth still. I'm pretty much right at the end of it. It's still pretty good. I think the ending once things start to actually happen in the game is a lot better. There are characters that I absolutely despise, which is great. Not like the characters you're playing; those are all great. But like characters I'm supposed to hate, I really hate.
Right.
I'll put it like that. There's one dude that I'm like, oh my god, I fucking hate that dude, and I hope I get to punch him. But no, it's really
a few that fit that bill, so I'm curious who they are. But I'm not going to ask you on.
Yeah. No, there's one in particular that I'm just like, oh my god. I could say the phrase that they say all the time, and you would know.
No,
you got it. Yeah.
No
all I have to do is to do that, and you'd be like, okay, that fucking guy. Yep, that dude. Oh man, I hate that guy, but I love to hate him. It's great. Let's see things that are different now. I like I said, I like the pacing in the second half of the game a lot more. I'm digging a lot of the Kiryu stuff. The one thing I would say is I'm right at where Julian warned me about, basically. I kind of did a lot of stuff. I'm pretty much like, I think I'm fine. I'm basically like already like, yeah, I got really nothing better to do.
Yeah, we talked before the show, and you're actually kind of a little over leveled for that last
probably
one, which is good.
Yeah,
yeah. Because even where I was at by the time I got to the last boss of where you're at right now, because there's kind of two final bosses. It was still kind of by the skin of my teeth.
Right. Yeah, I believe it. My one judgment comes with, I don't feel like it's that big of a spoiler, but it might be. The way they do the end bit is kind of, it's tough to say. If you don't want any, like, this isn't a story spoiler by any means, but it's just kind of like how they do the end game. If you don't want that, I'm going to apologize up front. But I have to complain about something. So they kind of like split the party at a certain point, and basically the end of the game, kind of, you know, like Julian just said, there's kind of two final bosses. So everything's split up between that. And
that, you know, I think it's pretty easy to figure out because, like, obviously, like, you've got Hawaii and Japan, right? And
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It works really well. I actually really like how they did it. The only thing that I don't like is now that I'm in the end game, I wish I could switch back and forth between the cities, like just like go to a place and be like, oh, hey, I wonder what these people are doing, and then you switch over or something like that. Only reason is because certain things for certain jobs that I want on one party are only in the city that the other party's in, so I can't get them now. And I'm kind of just like, oh, I guess I may have to just make other plans for people and just kind of do weird stuff, or just or just not get the ultimate weapons or whatever, which is fine. I'm sure it'd be no problem. But
and it's funny because now that I'm thinking about it a little deeper, because like other games where you've controlled multiple characters, have allowed you to switch freely between them, like as you get towards the end.
Yeah.
And also, like, you can only unlock new jobs in Hawaii.
Yes.
So if you haven't unlocked everything for like people who are in Japan, I mean, you can unlock them, but then you can't level those people's jobs in Japan until you're back with them, and you don't get to choose when you're back.
It's kind of weird how they did that, and like I love what they again. I enjoy the party split. I think it's cool, but at the same time, like there's certain things where I'm like, if I could just switch back and forth every now and then to do certain things, that would be great. Actually, like you just described, like if I wouldn't, I had unlocked all that stuff before, you know, that happened. And so it was fine. But at the same time, like, oh boy, if I hadn't, I would have been, because like then you're there for a while. And so it's just, to me, it's a little bit of an oversight, but at the same time, it's not the worst thing in the world. But like, now I'm like, oh, well, I really wanted this job, but the ultimate weapon for that is in Japan, so I'm kind of can't get it now. So, oh well. But whatever. That's really my only complaint about the game. Well, not really. I have other complaints.
There's other stuff, but yeah. I'm glad that you're still enjoying it, and yeah, I do agree that I think it definitely picks up towards the end.
The second half is definitely a lot better. Once the split happens, I think it actually starts to get pretty decent from there. For the most part.
And I think also it a lot of it hinges on, and you didn't have this problem that I did, which is not getting sucked in by the larger side stuff, right?
The big mini games, yeah.
Yeah, because like Sujimon, like I got to a point where I was almost done with it. I was like, I need to stop.
Yeah.
Because it is actively slowing me down in a way that's now starting to feel bad.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't like Sujimon as much, so I just kind of... I've been ignoring it for the most part. Like when one of them comes up and I can get one, I'll get it if I don't already have it. But a lot of the times I'm just walking away from a lot of that stuff. And yeah, I just haven't engaged with that one. Dondoku Island, I haven't engaged with it almost at all since the chapter where you have to. And I haven't felt that bad about it, which bums me out because normally I get really into the bigger Yakuza mini games, that whole series as a whole. I've just been like, oh yeah, no, let's take a day or two and just do this. Let's just knock it out. There are ones I haven't liked as much as other ones for sure, but like these are the first ones where I'm like, I don't feel like I need to do them.
Infinite Wealth really drove home a point that I hadn't realized before, and obviously these games were doing it first, but. It's very similar to me as Final Fantasy XIV, where every side thing that you do in Final Fantasy XIV has a storyline that goes with it, with like a beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
And the Like a Dragon games have that as well, but the problem is that like they are not MMOs that you were intended to be playing all the time for years.
Yeah, yeah.
And honestly, like, I felt this way the last few games where it's like, guys, hold some stuff back for the next game.
Yeah.
You're giving me too much value. Yeah. Tone it down just a little bit. Like, honestly, like, I felt that The Man Who Erased His Name was kind of the perfect length.
Yeah. No, I agree. I thought that's the one thing I really liked about that game was, it didn't linger on too long. It had a mini game in it, but it was not too much or anything like that. So
I'm trying to remember what it was.
I think it was just arena battles, if I remember it. But you had like a crew with you.
Yes, that is what it was. Yeah. Because I was saying that like it's a shame that like you don't fight like one of the Virtua fighters
right
in here.
Oh, that'd be good. Point. Like, yeah, that actually would have been good.
I keep, I know that like the whole connected universe stuff is like kind of tiresome to a lot of people, but there are things that I want them to do with this franchise with other Sega shit that I've been dying for, and I've said it before, but like, yeah, like have a Virtua Fighter show up, or have Ryo from Shenmue show up looking for the man who killed his father, right? Like
that'd be funny,
stuff like that. And I think I've talked about before that like I think it would be really awesome if Ichiban had to help out like one of the teenagers from a Persona game.
Right.
And maybe you don't like, obviously you don't get into like the whole like magical part of it, but just like, they're having some trouble at school and like you help them with a thing and you know who they are. Yeah. Wink.
Yeah. That would be fun. That actually would be pretty cool. Yeah, you could pull that off. The Virtua Fighter thing might be tougher because of how they have the arcade games in the universe.
True.
I could see people being like, this doesn't actually make sense. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Who cares?
Last year we played Street Fighter 6 where the story mode involves everybody in the world being really obsessed with the Street Fighters. So
and just fighting. They just fight all the time. That's what they do.
Yeah. And like all the merchandise is based around the individual fighters and like I think it's
I absolutely think you could it would be hilarious and fitting if somehow just Ichiban just gets sucked into the Virtual Fighter universe somehow. Like he's just in the game now, and now you have to do that. That'd be something. Yeah, you could do a lot of different things. It would work.
I know that the RGG team is very adamant about the heroes not hitting women in fighting games, but it's like you throw Majima in a fighting game, I think it's fine. Majima would absolutely have no problem.
Yeah.
Like hitting a woman, a woman that knows how to fight, right?
Right.
Like he's like, nah, like you can do damage to me. So we're on even footing here.
Right.
I don't have any problems with this.
Yeah. Let's see. What else about that game? It was funny. You were mentioning a guy last week, and I was kind of like, I think I know who he's talking about, but I didn't quite 100%. Where you said
Ichiban's Majima.
Yes, Ichiban's Majima. I was like, I think I know who he's talking about, but I'm not 100% sure. And then as the game went on, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, now I'm 100% sure that's who he was talking about. They even set him up the same, where he has like his own party members and shit. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. This guy is great.
Dude, I love him so much, and he's such a great like rival, because like when he starts out, it's like, oh, this guy is like the worst of the worst.
Yeah,
and like but then like the more you get to know him, it's like, I don't know, I'm starting to like this guy, and then it's like, oh, I'm starting to really like this guy, and then it's like, oh, he's like that kind of old school Yakuza that I like.
Yeah,
the
end, his like end. I'm assuming his ending, like this end little bit that I just watched was like really great. Like, oh man,
was there a hospital involved?
Yes, there was a hospital involved. I was like, that was phenomenal.
Yes.
This game, I've been misty-eyed more than I have been for a lot of games. In this one, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
there's a lot of bits that have hit me very hard when it comes to certain characters and stuff like that. It's great. It's really good. Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, good game. Who'd have thunk it?
I will piggyback off of that with a quick update on an RPG that I'm playing.
Okay,
which is Persona.
All right,
Persona 3. Not to go deep in here. I powered through August, like right at the end of August, like that last weekend, because it got away from me. And I was going to then play September right after it, but then a thing happened, which we'll get into after this. Because, one of the nice things about playing a game like this is that I knew like the broad strokes. I knew about like, using the little gun-like thing, the evoker to call your persona.
Yeah.
Right? I knew that like the theme was blue.
Uh-huh.
And that was kind of about it. So I didn't know like who's in the party. Like I didn't know any of the characters. So I didn't actually know like who of these people that are clearly characters that I'm running into are actually going to join the party. Imagine my dismay, Justin, when one after another, the last members of the last few members of the party to join in order are a robot lady.
Yeah.
A dog.
Yeah.
And an elementary school kid.
Yeah. Yeah, that is
Justin,
who joins. Yeah.
You know what I hate in RPG parties?
Those three things?
Specifically, like robot people.
Yeah.
Dogs
you don't like
that
robots.
don't talk.
Yeah.
And fucking kids. You know what it is? And I was thinking about this because I was like,
okay.
I love Transformers, though. Like, Transformers is my thing. But the whole thing about Transformers is that they are robots that have the same emotions and motivations and everything as humans. Like, that's the whole thing that makes Transformers stand apart from a lot of sci-fi for me, is that they are machines that have feelings, right? And my problem with most robot characters, especially in RPGs, is they are all written the same way.
Yeah.
And it's always like, well, I don't know how to relate to your human emotions, but I am going to try in a slightly humorous way.
Yeah. No, that is true. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they're all the same.
Yeah.
And that's my thing with Aegis, is I'm just like, yeah, okay. I know exactly what to expect with you. Like, I know, I can see where this is going from, it's like, okay. And then you get the dog, which admittedly, fucking cute dog.
It's a good dog.
I love animals. I'm not saying that I don't love animals. I'm saying that having a dog that can't talk is a waste of a slot in an RPG party that is based around getting to know your party members.
Well, yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't actually gotten to use them in battle yet.
Yeah.
Because, like, they kind of all join, like, these kind of all join, like, rapid fire.
I remember they're pretty late in the whole scheme of things.
Yeah, and then you've got a kid, and my thing with the kid, besides being a kid, is I'm like, this is a bad idea. You are going to get that kid murdered.
Right.
Because like there's a part where you talk to him and he's like, "You guys fight with weapons, right? I'm going to start training tomorrow." And it's like, kid?
Yeah.
We're halfway through this game. It's rough out there.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine. I'm sure he'll be okay.
Like if he had a different role in the party, like if he was like a support thing, sort of like Oracle is, but that role's already been taken.
Yeah.
In this game, but yeah, it's like a weird thing for me. Just because like. I mean, it's an RPG with like demons and angels. Like I get it, but like you can at least explain away like why the rest of the party members can fight, because like they all do things in their day-to-day lives that actually translates into fighting really well, right? Like one of the characters takes archery, so
one of them's a boxer. I think
one of them is a boxer.
Yeah.
One does fencing.
Yeah,
one of them played baseball, and so he uses big broadswords. Right. He uses swinging bats. It all makes sense, and it's like. This kid just decided, oh, well, I've got power. I should use it to help you guys. And it's like, that's not going to help. That's really not going to help, kid. You should stay home.
Yeah. Well, he tries his best.
Maybe. I haven't done anything with him yet. So.
Yeah, I never got that far in that game, I'll admit. So.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just like, oh, man. My excitement for like the rest. I think there is possibly one other character. Maybe not.
I think that might be it, actually.
Okay. Then they hit me with a they did a switcheroo.
Yeah.
Because I thought there was another character that was obviously going to join the party that I was much more into. And it's like, oh man. I'm not
sure. I don't think there is anymore. But if there is, I've misled you, and I did not mean to, because I've listened to like how it goes, but I can't remember. I remember I listened to Square Roots play it a long time ago. I was like, oh, that's how that game goes. Okay, got it.
Yeah. I feel like if they added another party member, that would be that would be too much. But I could, but then again, I played Trails of Cold Steel, which has like, I don't know, 10 characters in it or something like that.
Yeah.
So historically, I have preferred RPGs that have large parties.
I agree.
I like a large cast, so that's not a big deal. But in a modern RPG, it's rare to find games that do have that large of a cast.
Yeah.
I blame Final Fantasy VII for that, actually. I can't wait to talk to Bill about Final Fantasy VII. I'm really looking forward to it. Got a lot of shit to say about Final Fantasy VII, Justin.
I'm sure you do.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Hi, Brian Bradley here. But you know me already. I'm a handsome, charismatic actor who you can't escape from no matter how hard you try. I'm rich, have a hot wife, and these qualities make me the perfect person to run a mobile phone company. That's why I started Parsley Phones. Is it better than your current carrier? Sure. Is it more affordable? Yes, for 3 months. Is this a scam? Listen, I'm very handsome. Parsley Phones. You can use it to call people.
That's where I'm at with that, because I had finished August, and then you did a second stream because it was Labor Day weekend.
Yes.
And you... I don't know. Do we want to... Do we need to talk about
My Little Riding Champion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played that. That's a video game you can play. That sure is a video game you can play. You're a girl, and I think it was made in like Sweden or something. And she talks, and it's quite bad. And you ride a horse around. That's really it. I mean, that's what you do. You can go to town.
I really I really feel that you should have switched to another game after your break, because when you broke the game at the end of that first bit, I was like, you're not going to top that.
No.
That was such a good way to send that one off into the sunset.
Yeah, but then I didn't. I thought about it, and then I was like, I don't really have a backup though. It's like, because it's too late. Because the one game that I was like, if this is really bad early on, I have something that I can go to, and I would just play it the whole thing. But I didn't really have a backup, so I was like, fuck it, let's just. I wanted my intention on keeping going was I wanted to talk to that real bitchy girl again, who keeps showing up and being like, I'm better than you, because I was like, you're cool. Yeah, all right, yeah, you are. You're really good. You're really good. Mm-hmm. You're the greatest. She was fun. I just wanted to talk to her one more time. Man, that's a bad video game. It's not very good, but it's funny.
No, yeah,
it's real funny.
I was watching and I was like, they're supposed to pay to watch us suffer, Justin. But
yeah, no, I'll just do it. It's funny. If it's funny enough, it's good. I just like to walk around games like that and just look at shit, because it's fun to me. Like, I will just sit there and like, what books do they got? That's a good book. I don't know what I'm doing with my life, but I do that in games also. Yeah.
Like if the fidelity is clear enough that I can see what the books are.
Yeah.
I like to do that.
I just like to see how many times they reuse the same fucking assets, and how quickly that starts. And I'm like, oh yeah, okay, all right, we're in there. A lot of pictures of horses. This is good. Fits the mood. Anyway, yeah, My Little Riding Champion. You can go watch it. It's on YouTube. And then I played Star Wars Outlaws. There you go. I won't.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think as we talked about, like, leading up to it, right? Like, I was very much waiting for reviews on Star Wars Outlaws, and then something weird happened with this game.
Yeah.
Which is the IGN video review went up, and I was like, okay, cool. Let me go watch that. And there is one guy at IGN.
Yeah.
I'll call him out. His name is Tristan. He's a British guy. He thinks he's way funnier than he is, and I can't stand him.
Yeah,
because all of his reviews are just like every like sentence is just trying to set up the next bad joke, and it's so distracting for me from the actual review that I just can't.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, I'll wait for other reviews to come out, and then I did a YouTube search, and all of the reviews were from YouTuber reviewers that I didn't recognize, and they were all like titled "My Honest Review" or "My Brutally Honest Review" or the tried and true "Does it suck?" thing. And it's like, those types of reviews I don't even bother with,
right? Because
for me, if you're titling your reviews "My Honest Opinion," that tells me one of two things: either you are of the belief that like the people that work at like in games media, like for like outlets and stuff like that, are not honest in their reviews.
Yeah.
Or you're not always honest in your opinions.
Just this one time.
Right. So either way, I don't want to listen to you.
Right.
So I was like, all right, well then I am going to wait for Justin to play this, and I will wait for him to tell me what he thinks.
And the "does it suck" thing, that's always like, okay, so there's no room for in between. It's just like bad or it's good. There's no nuance to it. It's just
yeah. Well, and the review may well have nuance in it, but
sometimes, but still, you've set it up to where like, okay, well, it's only going to have is it a bad or good, basically. There's no, I don't know.
And also like spinning it that way instead of like, is it great?
Yeah.
To me is like, I can tell what you're trying to do there. And it's like, okay, that's what
gets the clicks.
Yeah, I know. I thought you would have actually played it last week before we came on, and you hadn't. I was like, okay, well. And then the funny thing is that like none of the podcasts I listened to played it.
Yeah.
Jeff did, but Jeff Gerstmann has gotten to the point where he'll only talk about stuff like games he's playing for like 10, maybe 15 minutes.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then like that's it. So I didn't really get like I know that he liked it, and I was surprised. But that's about all I got from it.
Yeah.
And then Nextlander hadn't played it yet. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm just going to wait for Justin. And thankfully, you bought it on
Now,
the second stream.
I would like to say this up front. I played My Little Riding Champion because I tried to buy Star Wars Outlaws, and the Epic Game Store would not let me because it told me I needed an adult. It would not let me buy it. I had to switch. It was like, you need to link your account to an adult's account, sir, young man. And I was like, well, I'll try. I don't know if I can get my mom on here. It's going to be real tough. I had to, all I had to do was go in and fucking set like a parental setting. Like you have to set up a pin for it. I'm like, why? I don't fucking care. I'm never going to use this. I was like, why are you making me do this? I hate the Epic Game Store.
We have to think about the children, Justin.
Oh my God. And then you buy it on the Epic Game Store and it doesn't even fucking run on the Epic Game Store. It installs the fucking Ubisoft thing and links to it to tell Ubisoft that you bought it on the Epic Game Store so you play it on their fucking launcher. It's ridiculous. Fucking hate this shit. Anyway, I had a fun time playing it on the stream. It was pretty fun.
I was kind of surprised at how much I was getting into it, like from the beginning, watching you. And then you said it like almost as I was thinking it, which is you were like, "Oh man, this is like my shit." Like I'm and I was like, "No, yeah, I'm loving kind of everything that I'm seeing right now."
Yep. It's dumb stealth. I don't know. There's something about it that just kind of hits for me. I don't know what it is, at least so far. I'm not that far in, so.
I'm about 30% through it as far as like, the PlayStation desktop says.
Okay.
Like, you know, which is a little bit off.
Yeah,
but,
right.
It tends to be fairly accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Like it tracks my progress in an Elden Ring playthrough pretty well.
Okay.
So I think I'm pretty confident in saying that. I love it.
Okay. Yeah.
I had this when I was playing Unicorn Overlord earlier in the year, where I would just constantly be like, man, I love this game. Like, just to myself, like, out loud, as I'm playing it, because it is just firing on all cylinders for me in a way that I was not expecting whatsoever.
Right. Yeah.
Especially, you know, being a very much a lapsed Star Wars fan.
Right.
Not for the reasons that a lot of people are lapsed Star Wars fans. It's actually more personal than that. Like, I tied a lot of personal shit into Star Wars over the last few years.
You'll have that.
It kind of hurts to engage
Go
with
with
Star Wars anymore. But I think the thing to start off with, I was surprised at how negative people are about this game overall. Because I'm digging it. Like even like people in our Discord were like, yeah, you know, it's like meh. Yeah. And I'm like, I must be playing a different game. Yeah. Because this is absolutely not meh for me. But I think the thing that nobody can deny is it fucking nails that feeling of just being on a Star Wars planet. Mm-hmm. You know, I've only been on one planet so far. Right. So I don't know how many there are to explore and stuff like that. Well, I guess 2 planets, because you have an opener planet.
You have an opening planet, and then you go to a different place, and you do a bunch of stuff on that. Yeah.
And just like kind of that overall like grit and grime to everything. Mm-hmm. All of the people milling about. There is like a really great density of NPCs kind of going about their business and speaking in English or, you know, Huttese or those other like weird Star Wars languages. I think it accomplishes what Disney was trying to do with that Disney crew or sorry, that Star Wars cruise that they had in the Star Wars hotel.
Right.
At Disney World.
Yeah.
There they had like all these like actors that were supposed to kind of be immersing you in this kind of ongoing, basically dinner theater that's constantly happening. This feels like that, but much more involved and realized in a way that I really appreciate. Mm-hmm. And you know, I think me, like a lot of people, right? Like Han Solo was my favorite character in the original movies, and he actually kind of made me fall in love with the lovable rogue. Right. Like that is always my favorite character in just about anything that I engage with these days. Right. I love that shit. Kay Vest is a really great entry into that world, and I love the fact that she's a nobody in it, and she's green. Yeah. And she's trying so hard to like bluff her way into things and failing miserably. And people like pick up on her bullshit away.
It is, which is kind of fun. They're like, you don't know what the hell you're doing, do you? And call her out all the time. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm hoping that like by the end of the game, you know, she is like more of like a really established, like kind of cool as a cucumber type of person. But I am digging, like, even now that I'm like a good chunk of the way into the main story, she's like, yeah, I use these all the time. No problem. You know, like that type of thing.
Right.
And it's kind of cool the way that they do like the faction rep and stuff like that. Like, when you first brought up the faction like reputation screen, I was like, oh man, I'm getting such strong Shadow of Mordor vibes right now, and I am fucking here for it. Yeah. And I like the way that you can play them off of each other. It is kind of cool where you'll like walk up and talk to somebody and they'll be like, no, you don't belong here. Like this is for high rollers only. Right. And then do some good jobs for some people and show that you're someone that can be trusted. And then you like, I actually have an invite. And they're like, oh, right. No, we were expecting you. Come right on in. Yeah. And that feels really cool. Like you really do feel like you're kind of immersing yourself into the Star Wars underworld. Yeah. I haven't gotten too far in since the stream I did. I did a little bit more after it. Like I finished like the stronghold that I was on and actually had a great time with that. Like, cause that was just like, okay, how do you want to do this? And I was like, I don't know. I'll try my best not to fuck it up. And it was, I had a great time just kind of messing around. It's dumb Ubisoft stealth, which I do like sometimes. Yeah. You said it perfectly on the stream, which is you were like, oh, tall grass. Like, this is my type of stealth. Yep. I was like, yes, no, this is my type of stealth as well.
I enjoy a tall grass. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you.
I enjoy whistling from tall grass and getting a stupid person to come over and then knocking them the hell out.
Yeah, it's the simple things in life that make me happy, and that is one of them for sure. And then they just lay there in the tall grass and nobody sees them, and it's fantastic. I love that.
I do wish, you know, and maybe this happens later on, but I wish that I had a few more tools in my toolbox for handling stealth stuff. I know a lot of it hinges around Nyx, your little your little buddy. But there's still things where I'm like, man. So one of the first story missions, like after where you're at, you actually kind of infiltrate this Imperial like space station. Okay. And there were multiple times where I was like, how am I supposed to get past this? Right. And I will say that like by the time once I puzzled my way through part of it, I was like, you know what? That was actually. I feel pretty smart about that, and this feels good. But I definitely was kind of butting my head against certain things because I didn't really have more tools at my disposal. Yeah. Right. Where if I had like one or two other little tricks up my sleeve, I feel that like it would be a lot more fun to negotiate. Right. But I'm like, that probably comes later.
And I also think it should be in my opinion, it's not for everybody, but I love that it's kind of forgiving when you do get caught. Like, there was one thing that happened on I think it was on stream. Yeah, it was on stream. It probably was after you were watching, but I did one of the animations on a staircase, and it basically lowered the person into the staircase, and I stopped everything. I went, I actually love that because I've had games where it's just like you weren't perfectly lined up with them, the animation doesn't play, it does a different thing, and now you're caught. And I'm like, no, I don't care if it looks stupid, just give me the kill like it should have happened. That's dumb shit that I enjoy. Also, like when you do get found out and caught, it's not like the most punishing thing in the world. You're not like instantly dead. Like you can definitely fight your way out of it and be okay. Like at least in my experience, I got caught in like the opening mission. Like I don't even remember what I did. It was something dumb. But they set the alarm off on me and they just kept sending guys and I just kept shooting them and going about my business. So I was like, I'll figure out how to turn this alarm off eventually. It's fine.
Yeah. I did a side mission that involved me in another Imperial base where things went tits up at the end, and I ended up killing so many stormtroopers that I had like a full like I had such a high wanted rating that they had sent a death squad after me. Nice. And apparently you're supposed to go to the death squad, and there's like a terminal you can hack to get out of it. But I didn't do that. I was just like, I'm just gonna go back to the city. but they had stationed a blockade with an ATST right at the entrance, and I was like, oh, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
But what ended up happening was I died, and then it was fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I kind of wish that like I had to like deal with that.
That would be that'd be
a little stricter.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
But at the same time, I could see you getting into a situation where it's unwinnable.
Yeah, so that's probably why they didn't do it that way.
Yeah. And it's the stealth isn't perfect by any means.
No.
One of the things that I have noticed, which I really don't like, and I feel this is a glitch, but it happens often enough to where I think it might just be the way the game is, is let's say that like you're sneaking into an area, you knock somebody out. Nobody sees the person is knocked out.
Yeah.
But somehow everybody's kind of aware that like something's going on.
Yeah.
And they'll remark about that. They're like, something doesn't feel right or blah, blah, blah. And then other times they'll just be playing like the alert type of barks from the enemies, but they're not an alert.
Oh, right.
And,
yeah.
And it kind of sets you on edge, and it's like, wait, did somebody see me? It's like, no, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But they're talking as if they're on the hunt for
right.
me. But they shouldn't know I'm here. Like that type of stuff, feels a little broken, but it's fine.
It's either that or it's like it has some sort of system where it's like, I don't know, the NPCs notice somebody's missing or something, but they don't know that they're actually missing, but they feel like they're, I don't know. Who fucking knows what they did. It's a little weird. I did notice some of that when I was playing too. So yeah.
Yeah. So it's weird because like sometimes they are like a lot more alert than other times, but for the most part, the NPCs are the right level of dumb that I like for a stealth game.
I agree.
And one of the things I did this yesterday, and I loved it, where there's these vents in Imperial places that will conceal you. They've got like mist coming out of them. And so there was a stormtrooper just standing guard in front of a door nearby. I crouched in that mist, and I whistled. He came over. I knocked him out. But there's another stormtrooper nearby that was doing something else.
Yeah.
And he looked over and noticed that door was not being guarded anymore. Yeah. So he just went and like took that position.
Well,
and I was like, well, okay, guess we got to do this.
Yeah, I got to do it again. Yeah, that's fine. We'll do that.
Yeah. And I've definitely done a thing where it's like, just whistle, knock this guy out, knock you out now, and not, but I love that. I love that like dumb domino effect of like, or the Lemmings effect of just
it's fun.
Keep on coming, guys.
Yeah, it's fun. It's not for everybody, but it's for me. I love it.
Shooting is similarly serviceable.
Yeah, it's fine.
But my thing with like Star Wars is that the shooting in the movies is all because like laser, like when I was a kid, I loved laser guns. As I've gotten older, I find them a little bit boring.
Yeah.
Unless you've got like Optimus Prime's rifle, or you have Megatron's like fusion cannon, laser guns kind of just feel kind of pew pew piddly to me.
Yeah, I get that.
And these guns all feel pew pew piddly to me, and it's like but it gets the job done.
It's fine. Yeah,
I can headshot real good in the game. That feels nice.
They give you like some different options, I think, too, for stuff like different ammo types and shit like that affect different things, if I remember correctly. Like there's one for droids
you got,
and
like,
shit.
Your ion
stuff.
For disrupting stuff. And then you can pick up other weapons. That's probably my biggest complaint about the combat of the game, like the shooting stuff, is that you can pick up other weapons. Yeah. But the second that you do anything that involves traversal, as far as like,
it gets rid of it. Yeah,
and it's a really weird.
That is kind of a weird choice. Yeah.
You mentioned just kind of offhand on your stream that it reminded you of like the Crystal Dynamics Tomb Raider games a bit.
Yeah.
And it does quite a bit. And I wish that like, it's like, okay, as a scoundrel, you're not really supposed to be like having a whole arsenal on you.
Right.
But I would like if I could actually choose like one additional.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be kind of fun to be, if you had like a little thing, just a rifle or something on your back. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, it does lead to
like a Hitman thing. Maybe you have to choose like what you're going to bring.
Yeah. Right? You can only carry one thing at a time, and if you don't take it with you, it's on the ship. And you got kind of
exactly.
I think that would be pretty cool. But they didn't kind of do that. The only thing I would say is like it does kind of lead to these fun moments in certain rooms where you're definitely gonna probably fight something. Where I'm like, there was one where like in the stronghold that I got to and I ended the stream at, that you go up and like basically everything goes wrong after you break into the stuff and you got to kind of fight your way out. And I remember I got down this elevator shaft. and had Nyx go steal this gun that I seen while I was hiding from everybody, and then I just started fucking sniping everybody. I was like, oh, this is great. I'm loving this. This is fun. So it does lead to stuff like that where it's like, oh, there's the thing. There's my way out of this fucking situation is that gun right there. So I guess it does lead to stuff like that. My biggest complaint personally is I'm dumb when it comes to traversal stuff sometimes, and I don't look up enough. I'm very bad at it, but after a while of that happening, I started to get better at it. But sometimes I don't. Sometimes I feel like it's a little like tough on me personally, where I'm like, I don't know if I can actually jump onto that thing or not, and it will grab on. Like right. There's one part of my stream where I think I spent like 10 or 15 minutes going, what the hell am I supposed to do? And all I had to do was jump across this thing, and it was a climbable thing that I could do. But I was like, that looks like if I do that, I'm gonna die, right? And so I'm doing everything else around it, like trying to figure it out, and then eventually I was like, this is the last thing I can try. And then it grabbed. I was like, oh my God, I feel so fucking dumb right now. And after you do that once, then you start going, okay, I think that's climbable. I guess we just give it a shot.
I had that exact same thing happen to me in that Imperial station that I was talking about, because there's a place where it's like, okay, I can see where I need to be past this spot, but I can't jump to here from there, and I don't see a thing to swing on. And I noticed that like off to the left there was like a ledge, but when I would jump to it, I would get there. There was also like a deflector shield, like past the ledge. And if I jumped to it, I'd hit the deflector shield, bounce off of it, and then fall. Yeah. But that is what you have to do. You just have to jump shallow enough to where you make it to the ledge, but you don't hit the barrier. And it was super not clear. And I was there for like a good 20 minutes before I figured out what I had to do. And even then, once I got past there, I was like, wait, but now what do I do? Like there were multiple.
There's a lot of stuff like that. Yeah.
Once I figured out like what I was supposed to do, I was like, oh, you know what? That I really did have to like plan and think about where I needed to go next and stuff. And that's kind of what you want for a stealth game, right? And it is more of a stealth game than anything so far. At least for me.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, even the stuff that I played is like that. There is some of the like, you know, go into town, get a job, and then, you know, go do job, or you know, go buy guns or upgrade. You don't buy a gun, you upgrade your gun or upgrade your ship or whatever the fuck. I haven't really got into a lot of that stuff yet, but like I said, I'm fairly. I basically did that stronghold, did a couple other things, and then was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to Like a Dragon right now because I got to finish that before I get real into this one. But what I played, I had a really good time playing. Another thing I love in it, and it's stupid that I love it, but I love the lockpicking minigame. I don't know why I love it. Good. It's a good lockpicking minigame. I'm bad
at it, but it's real good.
You know what? When I was on stream, at first I was like, "What the fuck does this want from me?" And then I figured it out. And I'm like, "Oh, that's it's a rhythm game. That's cool. I like that. All right." And then I got real into doing it. And when I played it the second time, I didn't have headphones on. So it was a little bit harder to hear where the beats were, and I was like, this is a little bit tougher now that I can't actually hear it, because when you have headphones on and you're playing it, you can hear all the little clicks that are going off. Like, I can hear the beat, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, no, got it, boop, 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 right. But when you can't hear it just perfectly, it gets a little bit tougher, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this might be a little bit of a thing, but we'll just turn the TV up, I guess. It's fine.
Yeah, and I'm playing it on PS5, and I'm using my headphones for that. But also, it's using the haptics.
I believe
as well as most Sony first-party stuff does. Yeah, and so it helps for the minigame. But also, it's like, you know, you feel Nyx when he like hops on you and stuff like that. Like, they use it a lot.
That's cool.
I mean, it is. I'm burning through DualSense charges, but it's worth it. Like, I really. I
wonder if I can hook that up to the PC and it'll do it. Probably not, but I'll try.
Yeah, you should give it a shot.
Yeah, why not?
I love Nyx. I think I was instantly smitten.
He's fun.
Like when that dude. I know you haven't been there yet, and I think there's more than one of these. Yeah. But there's a like place that you can eat.
Okay.
In the first city, where it starts and it's like full on Monster Hunter flourish.
Okay.
With like the chef and everything. And then you start eating, you sit down to eat with Nyx. And it goes into like a quick time thing to like, you're like doing quick time things for when you eat and when Nyx eats.
Okay.
And then it continues. And then it continues some more. And it keeps going. And you think it should be over, but it keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
And then you really think it should be over, but it keeps going. And I was like, people are going to hate this, but I am so in. This is so dumb.
All right.
And it's so adorable. Like it really does like kind of make you like help you bond with this little critter.
Right.
And you do get something for it at the end, but it's just like, wow, y'all went for that in a way that I appreciate.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like that, you have my respect.
Yeah. And I would like to conclude my own personal bullshit by saying I don't give a shit about Star Wars. Like I just don't. But I'm having a pretty good time with the game. So yeah, it's I like it so far.
And again, it really does come down to a lot of the vibe.
Yeah.
Like I love the way that you unlock a lot of like side quests, which is just listening in on people's conversations in town. Sometimes someone will flag you down especially once you start to get some notoriety.
Yeah.
Like they'll be like, "Hey, you seem like someone that can do this job," or you'll find a data pad that will find some information for you.
I've had that happen a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you get to play Sabak yet?
No, I seen it and I could have, but I did not play Sabak. So yeah.
I'm really into Sabak.
Okay.
That's fun. And you know me, I'm bad at card games.
Yeah,
but
that's basically like blackjack, if I remember right. Am I wrong? Or is Sabak different?
You're trying to get a low hand. Ideally, you want to have the same number. You only have 2 cards in your hand, and ideally you want the cards to be the same number and low.
Okay.
So that's what you're trying to get to. And there's various ways that you can try to do that. And there's certain combinations that affect how the numbers play off of each other.
What was the game in Knights of the Old Republic? Because it was kind of like hardcore blackjack, but you made your own deck.
I know it's not Sabak because I don't think that they had, like, Sabak was definitely in like the books and stuff around the time. But I don't think
it might have been, but they might have their own interpretations of it, and it might be different mini games. I'm gonna look that up now because I'm really curious what the.
I don't remember the name of it, but I feel that like it was definitely not Sabak. It was like some game that I'd never heard of.
Yeah,
before.
You're right. It might. Now I'm really curious
because I remember Sabak from like the Lando Calrissian.
That I know that name. Like I was like, oh right, Sabak, of course. Oh, bad. I'm really bad at typing on this fucking keyboard. Oh, boy. Oh, God. Oh, it's not going well. Should have done this on the phone, but here we are. Okay. Pazak. Pazak is the one.
I do remember that.
Yeah. Yes. Got it. Okay. Now I remember the name. That was going to bother me. I had to look it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also think the game is like really gorgeous. Like a lot of people were talking a lot of shit, like I saw online about like character models and stuff like that, but like the lighting is glorious.
Yeah, I thought it looked fine, honestly. Yeah.
I'm really kind of digging everything that it's putting down.
Yeah.
I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And the thing is, I've got a big smile on my face the whole time that I'm playing
it,
which is really nice.
Right. Yeah. I agree. I've liked what I've played so far. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I went in kind of being like, I don't know what this is going to be like. This is either going to be okay or, whatever. And then I got in there, I was like, I'm actually kind of liking this a lot more than I thought I was going to. Because I think I went in intending to be like, I'm probably going to make a lot of like, I don't know anything about Star Wars jokes and everybody's going to be mad at me, and that's fine. That'll be funny. And then I was kind of like, oh no, I'm actually kind of into this. This is kind of fun. So yeah.
And like I said, I'm kind of hoping that. Oh well, one thing is, I get it, right? Because like you, it's kind of like a surrogate Han Solo story that you're trying to tell.
Yeah.
But I would really love it if you're like, no, I'm just a fucking criminal, and I don't really care about helping the rebellion because I'm a criminal. Like I would love it if it was a little bit more GTA.
I gotcha.
You know, like I wish that like you could commandeer like other vehicles that you see like zipping around.
That'd be
stuff
fun.
Like that.
Yeah.
And I wish that like I'm not there yet, but I hope that you have more opportunities to just kind of be like a scumbag. Like, and that's like this. It's funny. Poor Starfield. This game is doing so much more for me to like live out my scumbag Han Solo dreams that I tried to do in Starfield. Right down to like the ship combat, like being more fun and stuff like that. And I do hope that like I'm not forced to take that turn of like, well, now I'm a hero. And it's like, but you know, I get
it is a Star Wars story, so we'll see how that goes. Yeah.
But yeah, that Star Wars Outlaws for now. Yeah. I will have more to say about it next episode for sure.
I might have more to say about it. It's very possible.
Yeah. I definitely think you should keep
I do. I definitely want to. I want to finish Like a Dragon first, which I'm very, very close.
Yeah, you'll have that done tomorrow.
Probably. Yeah, it's quite possible. Yeah.
Before I've got something else that I played that I want to talk about.
Right.
But before we do that, this planet sucks. Like can we get away from this cold, dead world and ascend to the warm embrace of space?
If you're gonna pay for gas, I mean, yeah, we can do that. Yeah. I mean,
it's worth it.
Okay. All right. I was going to say it's very expensive to fuel a spaceship.
I know, but you know, but sometimes you got to do a thing for you. You know,
that's true. Yeah. You know, treat yourself. You know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Sure. We'll stop at the space gas station on the way, and you know, buy a pocket full of popcorn or something. I don't know. All right.
Pocket full of popcorn.
Yeah. Let's just go. Let's not talk about it.
Oh shit, that's Mike Fallick's phone.
This is? Oh.
No, out the window.
I thought you were talking about I don't know. The pocket full of popcorn. That's his phone. It's called Pocket Full of Popcorn.
Sure.
I don't know. Somebody told me that they used to keep popcorn in their pockets sometimes, and I was like, "What do you mean? That's
unhinged.
That's what I said. That's insane. That's an insane thing to do." Yeah. And they're like, well, no, it wasn't. I didn't pop it. I would just carry the bags around in my pocket. I was like, okay, still why? But okay, that's better than what I thought you were doing, which was just carrying popped popcorn around in your pocket. That's nuts. And then they were like, well, sometimes I would do that too. And I ended the conversation.
No, that's the right thing to do. You should not speak to that person.
No, well, I do because they say things like that a lot, and it's kind of hilarious. So, you know, why wouldn't I do that?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
On a related note, this isn't what I came out to space to say. Okay. But, you know, I have been in touch with my father. Like, going to try to start like calling him on a kind of.
Well, that's good.
Possibly monthly basis or something like that, but. He added me to a group text, and I found that he is the type of parent that watches really unhinged like YouTube health type stuff, and then shares it.
Oh, good. That's what you want. Yeah.
With the group, and it's like the one that he sent today. Like literally, the thumbnail is like an AI image, and I'm like,
great. Yeah. Oh man, older people cannot tell. In my experience, older people cannot tell when AI is doing stuff, which is
of course not. How?
It's great. Well, even like voice stuff. My dad will sit there and he's watched like whole fucking things that is. I'm just like, this is an AI reading, dude. Do you not realize that? Like, it's got really weird fucking cadence and shit every now and then. Are you just ignoring that? Like, how is this not driving you insane? But no, he'll sit there and watch it, and I'm like, okay, yeah, no, this is really. They have no idea, do they? Yeah. Oh boy, that's something. Let's see. I'll start. I'll let you gather your thoughts. I was in the shower the other day. I know where you think this is going, but it's not. It's more about a thing that I remembered existed in the shower, and that's the USA original. Well, no, the USA original series, Pacific Blue.
Oh, I was hoping you would say Silk Stockings.
No, that also existed. I see that one's more famous to me.
True, yeah. I am aware of the name Pacific Blue, but I don't think I have ever seen, like, I couldn't even tell you, like if I've seen an ad for
it. Was on Roundabouts Wrestling. Like, they at one point, it might have put, like, an episode or two, like, right before or after professional wrestling.
The fuck is Roundabouts Wrestling?
No. It was the time it came on. Was USA would do that every now and then. They'd be like, okay, we have this new show, put it near wrestling. Then we'll get, like, I don't know, 12 people that forgot to turn the TV off to watch the show. That was Pacific Blue. It had Mario Lopez on it.
This is starting to sound familiar.
They were bike cops.
Never mind.
They were cops that rode around on bicycles and fought crime in LA on the beach, because that's what you did. Like I said, Mario Lopez was on it. Nobody else was of note, really. He was like the star, he was like the guy they brought in to get notoriety, which says a lot about Pacific Blue. I don't remember anything about any of the episodes other than they were bike cops. I watched the intro today because I needed to do that.
Sure.
It was terrible, but in a great way.
Oh yeah.
I've been thinking about, like, how much trouble do you think I would get in if I just went on Twitch and watched Pacific Blue, the entire series? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think people remember that show exists or existed. It doesn't exist anymore. Well, it still does. I mean, technically, it still exists. You can watch it probably. I'm like, I'm thinking about it. It's a temptation I'm fighting right now.
Remember when X-Files was so big that Fox was like, hey, you know what was also big is Baywatch, and what if we had a Baywatch show that's X-Files and we call it Baywatch Nights, and it's David Hasselhoff, like, investigating paranormal shit.
That's a good.
Do you remember that?
I vaguely remember that.
Crazy premise.
Yeah, vaguely remember that. Yeah, what a time to be alive.
I think people might hear the name Baywatch Nights and assume that it was like some sort of sexy, like, kind of Miami Vice type thing, but no. It was X-Files on the Baywatch beach.
Yeah,
at night,
as one did. Yeah, that's good. The other thing, I recently discovered that I'm very upset with my elementary school music teacher, Mr. Blake. I'm upset with him for reasons. So I don't know very much about Great Britain. I don't know shit about it. But I was looking up. I wanted to find the song. To be clear, I wanted to find the song "Hail Britannia." Okay, I was trying to find that song. I didn't know what that song was called. For those out there that don't know what that song is, it's the most British song there is. It's the dun 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 dun. That song. Okay. That's "Hail Britannia." There are lyrics and shit. It's something. It's kind of what you expect of Britain at the time that probably was written. It doesn't matter. I was trying to find that song, but for whatever reason, my brain was like, what is that song called? Is that what God Save the Queen is? Is that what that song is? That's the British national anthem, I believe. Again, don't know much about that country, so I apologize in advance. But I was like, okay, I think that's their national anthem or whatever. And then I listened to it and I'm like, oh, wait a second. This is not what I thought it was. Because when I heard this song, Mr. Blake in elementary school had a whole thing about how this song was "My Country, 'Tis of Thee," because they fucking changed it. They changed "God Save the Queen" into "My Country, 'Tis of Thee" because that was the American thing to do. And that's what they taught me in school, that's what that song was. They had a whole thing. It was a whole thing that like, oh man, this guy wrote this song and it's a good song and we're all gonna sing it. "My Country, 'Tis of Thee." And I didn't know that here this whole time they just stole it from fucking Great Britain. Bunch of assholes.
Yeah, well, you know. Like, I think the early Americans was like, fuck them.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, yeah.
We'll just, fuck them.
Still have that in
thank you.
space. That's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're probably right. But at the same time, I was just upset that I was not given that context. Like, I should have been like, here's the British song, and then we stole it from them. We were like, this is our shit now. Fuck them. Yeah, it would have been good. Yeah.
No, but see, he was a true patriot.
That's right.
He was erasing.
That's right.
That part of
no,
of the history
Mr. Blake was a weird
song.
motherfucker, and I don't want to defend him. I don't know if he did anything. He was probably fine. He was probably a perfectly cool dude, but he seemed eccentric when, as most music teachers were. He wasn't Mr. Kowalski, all right? Mr. Kowalski, Julian, was a music teacher, but outside of teaching music, he also taught karate at the YMCA.
Oh, there you go.
See? You can't top him. He's great. Oh man. Then I remembered the Ren and Stimpy version of the song, and I got sad because that guy's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes me sad.
I'm glad that I don't have the attachment to Ren and Stimpy that other people our age do.
Yeah,
When I heard he was a piece of shit, I was like, you know what? Based on the show, that's not surprising to me. I had a brief time where I was into Ren and Stimpy, but it was a very brief. Like, when the episode came out with the sentient fart, I was out.
Okay.
I was like, this is too dumb for like tween-age Julian.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. I've forgotten a lot of episodes. There was definitely some that I thought were really great at the time. It's been a long time since I watched them. I always remember "Don't Whiz on the Electric Fence."
I don't remember that. I remember the log song.
It was a board game that basically was called "Don't Whiz on the Electric Fence," and then they do, and that's it.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But yeah, it always bums me out. Anyway, let's move on. We're in space now, Julian. What do you want to talk about? You got
Justin.
Yeah.
So picture this.
Okay.
You have a list,
okay,
right? There's three numbers on this list. The first one starts like 142. Second one is like 585.
Okay.
The third number is 685.
Okay.
Now, under one of these numbers, you're going to have to file like a lot of paperwork.
Okay.
They're all related,
okay,
right? You have to file a bunch of paperwork under one of these numbers.
Okay.
But you only want to file under one of them because that way you don't have to like click around trying to figure out which of them the stuff is attached to.
Okay.
You have to choose one to be the first one, Justin. Which one do you choose?
So this seems like a weird memory test. So you gave me 585, 685, and 142, was it?
Yeah, 142 is at the top, and then the 585 is next.
I just wanted to make sure I remembered
is at the bottom. Good job.
The numbers. Sometimes I'm good at that. Well, I don't think I would want to go with the 585 or the 685 because they're so close to each other. So I would probably pick the 142, right? I don't really know though.
That's an interesting way to think of it. But
yeah.
No, I
that way I don't get them confused, right? Like I can, and then
That's fair.
Okay.
I think to me it's logical because one, it's the lowest number, but two, it's at the fucking top of the list.
Yeah, that is also true. I wasn't even putting that in perspective. I was just like, well, that it just seems further. The other two are very close to each other, right?
There's that too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I find that interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. No. Yeah.
But it is at the top of the list. I mean, it seems like
and also starts with a 1. Like, there's a lot of reasons why you would want to pick that one and not the 685. Yeah.
This seems like there's something deeper here, but I won't pry.
No, don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's fine. It's my cross to bear.
Did I do anything? Okay, I'm like, all right, I'm just making sure. Just making sure this wasn't some weird passive-aggressive thing that I did wrong. I'm just making...
Oh, it's absolutely a passive-aggressive
Oh, I
thing,
realize
just not
that. As long as
directed
it's not
towards you.
directed at me, I don't give a shit. Then it's hilarious.
Justin, I will always be aggressive with you if I've got
And that's
beef.
fair. That's good. I'm happy about that.
Last thing, I was just thinking about this today, but we're in a safe place here. It's in space.
Yeah.
No one will know about it except for you. I never liked Beetlejuice, the movie, Justin. Never did.
I have an interesting history with Beetlejuice, and it's that I never seen any of the movies. Or the one
There's
movie.
only one.
I'm sorry I even said movies. The reason I said that is because there was like more media attached to Beetlejuice. There was the cartoon.
Fucking love the cartoon.
I didn't love the cartoon. I kind of hated the cartoon. It was like one of those things that came on, and I was like, I don't get it. And then I learned later that it was a beloved movie. And was like, oh, it makes sense that there would be a cartoon. I still don't like this.
It still doesn't make sense that there's a cartoon,
Yeah.
Justin. Like so many things of that era. Like, I don't understand why there was a RoboCop cartoon and a Rambo
There
cartoon.
was, yeah.
There was a lot of stuff that was made consumable for children that was not supposed to be consumed by the children. But, hey,
Yeah.
product of the 80s and 90s. It turned out okay, I guess. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yes. And I say it because, like, now there's the new Beetlejuice, and now, like, a lot of people are talking about how much they love Beetlejuice, the movie, and how they're excited for the new Beetlejuice. And I'm like, man, I really don't like that movie.
Yeah.
Not really a big Tim Burton fan in general.
Nor am I. I'm just not a big Tim Burton guy.
I love Edward Scissorhands, and I like Big Fish a lot.
Oh my!
And that's about it. I guess the big confession is that I really don't like his Batman movies.
Oh yeah. I can.
I loved them as a kid when I first saw them, and then I started to read Batman, and more importantly, watch the Batman animated series and realize how much he had massacred Batman.
Yeah.
And everything related to Batman.
I was really young when the first Batman came out. Batman in
you were a toddler.
Yeah.
I was only
I was
9.
3 years old, but I do remember like us renting it at some point when I was a little older and knew kind of what Batman was, but I very vaguely remember it. Returns, I remember being a bigger deal because I was, that was 92. I'm looking at a list now, so nobody praise my memory for anything that's happening.
I remembered it was 92 just because I just...
Yeah, that's good. I'm proud of you. These are if you can't tell, none of these movies are near and dear to my heart at all. So, yeah, Batman Returns was fine. What did he make any of the other ones, or no?
He just did those two.
Okay, Returns. I'm not that big a fan of those two either. I love the later ones that are garbage because they're garbage. Those are great. I'm going through this stuff. He's never been one of my people that I give a shit about. Like, I'm just I'm trying to find one.
I do 100% believe that he, Helena Bonham Carter, his wife at the time, and Johnny Depp were fucking on the regular all the time.
Right.
Because you don't cast both of them in every single thing you work on that many times to not have some sort of throuple thing going on.
Now, my sister, on the other hand, loves Tim Burton. So, I watched Sweeney Todd and didn't really care for it. I watched...
Oh, I think he did. Did he do Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Yes, he did. He did do...
Okay.
Yes.
So, I love that.
That one's
That's
fine.
my favorite thing.
I was not even born when the movie came out, but I do remember us renting that one later on in life, and it was fine. I've never been the biggest Pee Wee Herman person.
You kind of had to.
You kind of had to be there at the time. Yeah, I've realized that. I've watched Dark Shadows, unfortunately for me. I think I watched that.
That was Tim Burton. That was a piece of shit.
Yeah, it was garbage. It was not good. I watched that in a theater, Julian.
I did too.
Yeah, it was not great.
It was funny because I watched that with my friends Joe and Shanna back when they were still living in Austin. And I was surprised at how many, like, not elderly.
Yeah.
There were, like, a lot of, like, people in their 50s and above in the theater.
Yes.
But I was like, well, right, because this was, like, a
old sitcom, or old soap opera,
yeah. And I was like, man, it's going to be kind of cool to be in their place 40 years from now when the Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot movie comes out.
Yeah. It very well could happen. Yeah. I could definitely see that happening. Mars Attacks was one I remember when that came out. I know I've seen
I didn't
it.
know he did that either.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. He did Mars Attacks. He made a 2019 Dumbo movie?
Yeah, I knew that.
Oh. Okay. Sure. All right. Yeah, no, I'm also with you. I'm not a big Tim Burton guy. I never really have been. So, yeah.
Glad to finally get that off my
No, you're in good company here. I'm not going to fight you on it, and I pretty much agree with you. I guess I can see what other people see in it. Like, it is kind of a weird aesthetic that he goes for, and I appreciate that he has a style. That's nice.
It's not even the style that I have a problem with. It's kind of more of just like the movies themselves.
I just don't find that. Yeah, no, it totally does. They're not that entertaining of movies. They all have style for sure.
Yeah.
But they are kind of boring movies for the most part to me. They don't do much for me personally. I don't know. And a lot of them are just like, hey, I took this other thing that was cool and just put my style on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
that is a big.
I mean, Dark Shadows, perfect example. He did the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Yeah, and I put Johnny Depp in there. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, same thing. Sweeney Todd was the thing before that. That's the same thing. Batman, fucking, it was a comic. He just did I'm just gonna do my style with it. You know, I respect it, but at the same time, I don't. He did a Planet of the Apes movie. What the fuck? The 2001 Planet of the Apes movie was Tim Burton? No fucking way.
Oh, I didn't remember that. But that's separate from the ones that people actually.
Yeah, that was a terrible fucking movie. So, but he did it. That we can't discount it. It happened. Oh man, I've never seen Big Fish. I've honestly never even heard of that movie. Well, I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. So, yeah.
Big Fish. Like, it kind of hinges on if you have dad issues or not.
Okay. Yeah.
And I very much do, so it hit me pretty
I
hard.
keep thinking they used to have it's only 29 minutes. I may have seen Frankenweenie. And that is okay, because it's only a half an hour, and I think it's like a silent thing, or it's like, there's not much line to it. I can't remember. It was cute if I remember correctly, but that's about it. All right, Tim Burton.
Well, I mean, we're out in space, so the people back from home won't know. But yeah, like between the two of us, not fans.
Yeah, sorry. Well, let's go back to Earth and not talk about Tim Burton in front of anyone, you know. And I'll clean my pocket out of all the popcorn that I put in there.
No. Wait until we get home.
Okay, all right.
Because we don't want the popcorn flying around.
Okay, well, I'll go. Well, we're gonna go. I'm taking the popcorn out. I'm hungry now.
Oh, God damn it. Yeah. It's everywhere now.
That's fine.
It's going to clog the instruments.
No, they'll be okay. They
we made it in one piece. It's okay.
Yeah, see, I told you. It was fine.
Yeah.
The instruments are probably even better now. They got butter in them.
Oh, man. Gave me... So I've been getting... I got microwave popcorn as kind of like a treat that I have. It's like it's actually not that terrible for you, especially like as far as sugar goes. Like for diabetics, you know, it's actually pretty good.
I'm sure.
But I get like the movie theater flavor that they have, or the movie theater butter flavor. Yeah. But then a friend of mine clued me in. She's like, "Hey, if you also melt some butter just off to the side and then drizzle that over that shit." And I was like, "Word."
Oh yeah.
And then I did.
Oh, you never done that before.
Oh, this changes everything.
Oh yeah.
Well, I've never been much of a popcorn eater, especially when Game Fellow started to circle the drain and I was working at the movie theater and I didn't have money to buy food and I was just eating popcorn for dinner. Like
that'll turn you off of popcorn real quick. I've done that with donuts before where I'm like, oh, hey, I'm broke and I work at a place that makes donuts. Why don't I just use this as a meal? And now I hate donuts forever. I didn't really care for them to begin with, but now I especially hate them.
Just eat whatever makes sense, right? Like some of those sprinkled ones and a lot of the glaze, and so this is topical. Everybody. It's a thing.
Yeah. Anyway, popcorn with butter.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
good.
great.
Yeah. No, that's how my mom always has made popcorn. She will do that, and that's how whenever she would make me popcorn for a movie or whatever the fuck, that's how we ate it, and it was good. Even if it's like cheese popcorn or anything like that, you can still do it. It's really good. Works with everything. If you've never done that, you should do it. It's pretty fucking good.
Yes. Stage Select approved.
Yep.
I need to run to the restaurant.
Oh, you know what? I'll go have a cigarette and
Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right.
The Stage Select is made possible through the support and funding of viewers like you. Here are our wonderful patrons.
Well, Justin.
Yes.
Before we move on, I think it is time to thank some patrons. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's, I have that. Hold on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I believe
Yep.
you.
No, it's there. I have it.
Yeah. Okay. We appreciate all of our lovely patrons.
We sure do.
But every week, we like to thank our executive producer tiers. And this week, we have Big Baker.
We have Bookie.
We have Casey Curran.
We have David Portnov.
We have Dennis Robertson.
We have Eric Peacock.
We have Exrian.
We have Game Johnson, who is new.
Yes, a new executive producer.
In all capital letters with an exclamation point.
That's right. I get excited. Every time that I see like a notification on our Patreon, I get very excited.
Hell yeah. I would be too. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's actually our buddy James from Retrofits.
Oh, nice.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. We also have Joel Thoman.
We have Matt Jorgensen.
We have Philip P.K. Becker.
We have Stephen Lobo.
We have Xavier Krager.
We have Reese Duff, who is also a new member, but the free member.
Yes,
and that's good too.
That is very good. Yes, as I said, trying to do more stuff on the Patreon page. I actually just before we sat down to record this episode, posted my review for this bed we made.
Oh, nice.
On our Patreon page. That's a free post, and then over the weekend it probably won't be this weekend, but I will be uploading it as a video review. Later, I need to get some footage from my PS5 and then import it.
Yeah.
I found my USB memory stick, so I can actually move stuff because that's like the only way to really do it. Is plug in the USB from the PS5, put it in there, and then take it to the PC. I don't know. I feel like there's a more streamlined way that Sony could do that, but what do I know?
Right.
So breaking news, Justin. While we took for listeners, we took a break, and I had mentioned to you that I've been in contact with my father.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to tell me the New Kids on the Block did a concert, and I'm like, I'm already aware. Oh
no, I mean, and Oasis is getting back.
They are. That's a whole thing.
Yeah.
There's bets going on how long it will take them to break up again. Probably not long.
No. I figure it's like a show, right?
At least one, show.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
So as we were recording, I had seen another text come in through that group chat that I am now a part of that I don't wish to be.
Well,
and the message was something along the lines of, "Hey, I guess we both thought we were going to call, but we didn't get around to it. Like, I'll be willing to call if you'd like, smiley face or whatever. And I noticed the area code, because I don't know who these people are other than my dad, right?
Yeah.
I noticed the area code for this one was an Austin number. I'm like, that's for my dad, because he's the only person who would have like any ties to Austin at all. And then while we were on our break, another text on the group chat came in, Justin.
Yeah.
From my dad. That was something along the lines of, "Hey, sexy, I had a hot dream about you last night, but I fell asleep before I could call."
I'm sorry, that's kind of great.
No, and this is why I wanted to bring it to the show, because I wanted that.
That's good. That's really great.
To which I then texted my father personally and said, "You put that in your group chat, Dad?" And he said, "No. That wasn't me. I got hacked. Like one of the people in my congregation figured it out." And I'm like, so you're technology, like you're aware enough of technology to say that you got hacked.
Yes.
But not aware enough to know like where you're texting to.
Yeah.
This is why I fucking avoid family, Justin.
No,
like,
I get it.
I don't want to be a part of. Like, look, I don't even, like, he can get laid. Like, sure, go,
yeah,
I don't care.
Yeah,
right?
God bless. They even
like,
do whatever. Yeah,
you know, if there's a dick pic that shows up, I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
I'm sorry that you have to go through that, but at the same time, it's really funny.
No, yeah, you know, I could have kept it to myself. But
I feel like I feel like now you just have to a new segment idea is to just share the insane health updates that your dad has.
No, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah. That I mean, it is for sure.
I'm not logged into YouTube on my phone, so I can watch them there and not have it fuck up my algorithm.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. There you go.
On to happier things.
Sure.
Please. Oh God, please.
Okay.
So I couldn't wait. I told myself I had to wait until payday, but I couldn't wait, Justin.
Okay.
I had to buy AstroBot.
Oh I forgot that came out.
I had to pre-order AstroBot last night so that I could play it at 11 p.m.
Yeah.
When it unlocked. And goddamn, Team Asobi made another AstroBot. And I'm so happy that they made another AstroBot.
Yeah, when I did that come out? When did that come out? Today or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, the day we're recording this, right?
Yes. August September 6th is the release date for it. Yeah.
Also, the day Concord died forever, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to do a whole thing about that on the show.
Yeah.
But I thought better of it. Actually, Jeff Gerstmann addressed all the stuff that I would have said about it.
Yeah.
And thankfully he had he was like, look, there's no way that they developed this for 8 years like that. That's this weird narrative that's coming out of nowhere. And, like he basically had like a lot of like stuff that kind of he cleared the air on. That was like, yes, no, people need to do this because they're reporting like stuff as fact that like one, nobody knows, and two, like just add up.
Yeah, it's still a weird. What a weird situation, and
I think the weirdest part for me is how people seemed to want to gleefully bag on it, and it was like a lot of the same people who are very much out there talking on like speaking on outrage for developers that get laid off and stuff like that. But somehow forgetting that it's not the development team that like they made what they could make and probably had like a lot of interference in what they wanted to make like along the way. And also it's like a multiplayer game that was not trying to nickel and dime you to death after the fact. Like I thought that's what people wanted.
Yeah.
So
it was a lot. A lot of it was going for Overwatch for the most part, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
In a thing where Overwatch already exists. Overwatch 2, I'm sorry. Whatever.
Yeah.
And also Valorant exists, which is kind of the same thing as far as I know. I'm not really sure. But
I think, Valorant is a weird thing because I am reminded often that it exists. But
Me
it
too.
seems that like nobody ever talks about it, but at the same time it's highly
huge.
popular.
It's huge. And we never hear anything about it. Yeah.
Even like I don't even hear about it tangentially very often as far as like it's a very weird success story.
But it's the
Roblox of first person shooters.
That's nailed it. That's the best way to describe that game, honestly. But still, you're competing in that same thing where there's a clear. It's tough to get people away from those games, and and that was to me Sony with that idea of their live service push and in a time where people are trying to get away from it is kind of to blame for that thing just flopping the way it did. But whatever.
Yeah, well, but I think there's a lot of evidence that they had already decided to pull the plug on it before it even came out.
Oh yeah,
because
I wouldn't doubt it. Yeah,
because honestly, like it's weird that it wasn't even announced until this summer. There normally would have been a longer lead in to a game.
Okay,
like this.
I'm not crazy because I'm like, man, I barely heard anything about that guy. I remember when the beta came out and people were kind of like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, and I was like, all right, well, I didn't even think Sony published it for the longest time. And then the more it came out, I was like, oh, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, AstroBot.
Well, actually, real quick, because I did want to say that I did want to make a point to say this on the show.
Okay.
And I don't want to speak on Justin's behalf. This is only on my behalf.
Yeah.
But Justin, you can chime in if you want.
Sure.
I got into it with someone who had followed me for a long time on Twitter the other day.
Okay.
Because I was talking about like this weird, joyous like teardown of this game that really its only crime is that it was just okay.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of its big sin. And his thing was like, well, it's their own fault for it being this big DEI like bullshit and
okay.
Like all this stuff. And I just want to say that if you honestly believe that the idea of including more people and embracing any type of diversity, or you use the word woke.
I forget what that thing, the DEI thing stands for. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anything like that. If you are the type of person who constantly like talks about video game journalists and puts the word journalist in quotation marks.
Yeah.
Fucking don't listen to this show.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you here.
Those are the people that I don't want to have fun with video games anymore. That I like.
Yes.
That was a big thing with that Dustborn game too, where people were going in on it because it had stuff like that in there. And that's what broke my heart that I didn't get into it with because I was just like, oh man.
So I went and watched some of that, and I was just like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah, it's
What I saw of it, I was like, this dialogue is bad, this voice acting is bad, this music is bad.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because like the first trailer was like, oh, this looks like right up my alley.
And the demo I played cut to a lot of the good parts, so you could kind of see like, oh, okay, this has some potential, and then you see the in between stuff, and you're like, oh, maybe never mind. Yeah. And I don't. Well, I mean, I used to say that I didn't like to bring politics into the podcast, but I've changed a lot since the pandemic hit. I still try to make this like a more lighthearted show and stuff, but I think that if you listen very closely to the fake ads that I create, you can tell where my opinions lie on a lot of things. Right.
But again, if that's where your line of thinking is, this isn't the podcast for you.
No, probably not.
Also, seek help and really think about the words that you're saying and what they mean.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the word woke has lost any meaning at all.
Oh, God, yeah.
But I like to like actually, you know, because it also like the word Antifa, which I also don't like people pronouncing that way. I think it should be pronounced fa because and I think that honestly more people should actually say the full thing out, because I think when you're like, oh, I hate anti-fascists, it's like, oh, you do you?
Right.
Like, that's a really interesting thing to
right,
you know,
yeah.
like plant your flag on.
Yeah.
The concept of just trying to be more aware of the world around you, not to tear yourself down or not to say that you're a bad person for having like a narrow view of things, but just being aware that you do have a narrow view of things and maybe trying to work on that is not a bad thing.
No.
And that's really what that kind of boils down to.
Yeah, I did see people talking about that in my with Concord, and I was like,
yeah,
oh my god, of course, that's of course where we go here. Yeah,
and I'm like, the main character is like a green alien, and the second like most popular character is a yellow robot.
Yeah,
where are you getting this bullshit from? Is it because like there's like 2 black characters in the early roster? It's like, oh my god,
yeah,
like, heaven forbid. Like,
well, what it boils down to, Julian, is none of the characters make my dick hard, so not into it.
I mean, and that is important. You know,
that it's really sad that that's like kind of a line of thinking with a lot of that shit, and it's really fucking dumb. I hate that shit.
I have seen a rhetoric about that around K-Vess in Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah.
And I saw a perfect tweet, which is she looks like every sexy I can fix my own car character in every 80s movie that I grew up watching. Yeah. And it's like, that was a very well-established type of character back then that people were like going gaga over. Yeah. So anyway.
Oh yeah. No, they're the type of people that will take the most out of context screenshot from the game and go, look, the character's terrible looking. Look how bad it looks. And you're like, what the fuck are you?
Well, and that is definitely a lot of the shit that I saw on YouTube about Outlaws, like before like you streamed it. And then when I got into the game, I was like, oh no, this is great.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and again, I think, well, I mean, this is a different thing, but we're at a point now, and we've been this way for a while now with games, where you can't get a sense of how a game actually looks watching it on YouTube or a Twitch stream.
No,
you have to see it like on your
visual fidelity is way different.
Yes,
I've noticed that since I've started streaming a lot more, because like you can look. Like there's a little window that shows what's going out to people, and you can see it. And sometimes I'm like, oh, that ain't how that looks on my fucking TV right now. Like I gotta, like, sometimes you can fix it and make it like look better. But like for example, if you have HDR on a game, it makes everything look awful on a stream, so you have to turn it off. I learned that with Infinite Wealth, actually, when I streamed it the first time. I had the HDR on, and I was like, why does that look so... Oh, fuck, right. I remember hearing somebody say that. Let me go see if that actually fixes it. And immediately, it did.
Yeah. And they use it to such great effect on Outlaws. Right. Where, like, the transitions between, like, dark and light areas is, like, so cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, on to happier things, finally. AstroBot is a fucking delight.
Nice.
I mean, I knew that, right? It very much is that they made more AstroBot, but Astro's Playroom, the pack-in that came with the, you know, all the PlayStations, and when I played that year, would have been my game of the year if Spiritfarer didn't exist.
Right.
It's just Spiritfarer hit so hard.
Right.
It had to be my number one.
Right.
But Astro's Playroom was just phenomenal, and it's still, I think, the best utilization of everything that the DualSense can do up until now.
Yeah.
Right? Already, even I've only played about, like, I think through 3 stages, but they've refined it so well, and much like Outlaws, but to an even greater degree, just a big dopey smile on my face the whole time.
That's good.
It's just so effortlessly joyful. And AstroBot is just a wonderful little character.
Right.
Like he's got so much personality, and, you know, like finding all of the themed bots is even cooler than it was in the last game. I've gotten everything in the levels that I've played.
Yeah.
But I definitely got to a point in each of the levels where I was like, oh, I missed some stuff. And I went back and then kind of looked around closer. Was like, that was a pretty tricky thing.
Yeah.
Like, I almost missed that. That's really cool. Like, and it's very like Tears of the Kingdom / Breath of the Wild in that way.
Okay.
Where you'll kind of look at something and you'll be like, I bet if I mess with that, something's going to happen. And then sure enough, you mess with that and something's going to happen.
Right.
And it's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. Music is fantastic. So far, there's been a decent amount of remixed stuff from the previous game.
Okay.
But that's fine because I loved the soundtrack for Astro's Playroom. But there's been new stuff as well. I don't have much to say about it yet simply because I
haven't played that much of it.
Early.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, man, so great.
I was watching a little bit of it today before we got on here because I completely didn't even realize that was coming out at all. Just wasn't on my radar. But I remember watching. I was like, oh, Julian's gonna love this. Like it was immediately in my thought. I
really want you to play it, but I know that like it's a hard sell because one, it's a platformer, and two, you are not as enamored with like the haptic stuff as I am. And then the nostalgia stuff, you can just get that from watching someone stream it.
Right.
So, and that is, don't get me wrong, that is a very big part of it is, all of these throwbacks to not just like Sony first party stuff, but third party stuff, but stuff that you absolutely associate with PlayStation, right? Like, obviously like early Metal Gear Solid, right? That was a PS1 game. So like, even though like Twin Snakes came to the GameCube and Metal Gear Solid 2 came to the Xbox. Right. I think for a lot of people that were there at the time, Metal Gear Solid is a Sony franchise. Not owned by Sony, but we just
I associate it with that for sure. 100%. Yeah. Not even close. Yeah.
Yeah, to the point that like when Metal Gear Delta comes out, even though it will be available on Xbox, and even if it was on Game Pass day one on Xbox, right, I would be buying it on the PlayStation because like, no, I need to play that on a PlayStation controller. Yeah, like I just do.
I get it. Totally get it. Yep.
Yeah. I'll definitely have more to say about it next week. I think I'm probably going to split my time this weekend between that and Outlaws.
There you
go. Because Astro is very bite-sized where you can like
it definitely
go through a level or two.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Hop out and then and actually Outlaws is kind of bite-sized as well because you can definitely go handle a contract or a side mission. And,
I said, I've been
some progress.
I've been doing that. I did that the one day with Like a Dragon where I got to a point where I was like, I just need to play anything that isn't this right now. Like my brain is just fried from it because I was playing. I seriously played it from like the time I woke up to the end of the day, and I was like, oh, I just gotta play something else. And I played that for like a couple hours. I was like, okay, I'm good. That was fun though. I want to do more of this, but like, it's for sure. Yeah. It works in that way.
I guess I will piggyback, like to do a little bit of news stuff. Cause I saw this quote from Sony. I forget. I think it was a CEO at Sony or something, someone up there.
Okay.
And it was another thing, almost like the, or like the Matt Booty quote after they closed down Tango of like, oh, we need more games like Hi-Fi Rush, right? And it was someone at Sony saying that they don't have like enough IP that is like a Sony thing that they like they haven't cultivated that up, and it's like, what the fuck are you guys talking about?
Right.
And like sure enough, like everybody was listing off, it's like, no, you've got like you've got Infamous and you've got Parappa and you've got Ghost of Tsushima and like like just all of these things, right? Like all these franchises, new and old.
Oh, I remember this quote now. Yeah, it didn't make any sense, but okay, yeah. Oh boy,
yeah. And I don't know what's going on at the higher levels of these companies where it's like, have you just forgotten? And that can happen for sure. Yeah. I remember there was a time right around the time of the Dreamcast, like as Sega was going down in flames. Where there is a story that somebody at, I think Sega of America?
Could be.
I might have this flipped.
Okay.
Somebody on one side of the aisle,
Yeah.
Between US and Japan, wanted a new Streets of Rage, and the answer from the other side was, "We own Streets of Rage,"
Right.
and it's like just somehow not having like the knowledge of the history. And Streets of Rage was still like, it was way newer back in 1999 and 2000 than it is now.
Oh yeah, for
right?
sure.
And I think about that sometimes. I think about that with like Square Enix, where it's like, do you guys remember like what you have?
Probably
like
not.
what like games that you could release and like make new ones of, or sequels to, and same thing with Capcom sometimes. Like
Capcom's getting better about it
at the beginning of the year. Was very like it was. I think the survey was a really good proof to me that they do remember that stuff.
Yeah.
The results of the survey,
we'll see if
we're sad.
Yeah, exactly.
But I can't blame Capcom for that. That's just people being weird. It's like, guys, I said this on Games My Mom Found, but I'll say it here because I don't know if we ever talked about it.
Okay.
The number one, no, it's the number two franchise, because Dino Crisis was number one.
Yeah.
But the number two franchise that people in the survey agreed should get more sequels or remakes was Resident Evil, a series that gets a new game every 2 years. Like,
I know, I remember that. I think we did talk about it. I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast, but I think we did. And no, it's
like Resident Evil fans are eating good, guys. Give us Breath of Fire and Gargoyle's Quest above.
Right. Yeah, a new Breath of Fire would be interesting. I don't know what they do with that, but it'd be interesting to see.
I would love to see a modern Capcom RPG.
Yeah, I'm
with
what
that
you.
Looks like, but anyway, but just getting back to like the higher ups of these companies, just like this weird unaware. Because my thing with Sony the last couple of years has been, well, the pandemic really fucked up everything as far as like stuff, like all these timelines got thrown off. And so, we're in a period right now where they don't have games ready because of this and that. But then it seems like, no, they don't have stuff on the way. Yeah. Because somehow they they decided to go all in on multiplayer stuff for a little bit until they didn't.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that was a big Jim Ryan thing. And so as soon as he was gone, that's when this pivot happened. And that's why I think that a lot of the Concord stuff is new leadership at Sony being like, no, like abort. Yeah. We don't want, this is not what we want for the future of the company, which I get. I do think that like you could have given this game
give it a little bit of a chance to breathe. Like it was up for like what, a week, 2 weeks, maybe. Wow. Just give it. I know it's not gonna maybe set the world on fire, but like give it a chance to do anything. And
I think word of mouth could have like helped it, because like I actually do follow a lot of people that were playing it and really enjoying it. And I saw like one person saying like, if you're like a certain type of multiplayer gamer who is tired of getting just annihilated by kids on Call of Duty all the time or this or that, come over here. Yeah. The water's just right. Like, it's not a big pool, but the temperature's just
sometimes
fine.
That's the funnest multiplayer experience that you can have, is when it's kind of a smaller community and like everybody's kind of like, I know nobody's like serious is here, and that's great. Like I remember that was when Overwatch first came out. Like the first couple weeks playing Overwatch was a lot of fun, because it was just like everybody was in the same boat. And we were all just like, it was just a bunch of people you could tell were just like, hey, what's this thing? Let's go play it and mess around and do dumb stuff and see what's good. And that was the last multiplayer game that I was like, oh no, I'm getting like old Halo 2 vibes when I'm the amount of fun I'm having right now. But and then one time I got on there, the last time I got on there, somebody got in there and was just like, why are you picking that character? That's not very good. And doing all the like the series, I was like, and we're at that point now and it's time to go. Yep.
That's probably why I will hop into Marvel Rivals for like that first 2 or 3 weeks.
It'll be fun.
And
then as soon as you start hearing people going, oh, no, you got to counter pick with this guy and do this. It's like, nope, I'm out. I've had my fun here.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, Concord never got to that point. So yeah, it probably was. And it might never got to that point. It would have just been a lot of people goofing around having fun. And then that from there you could grow it. And maybe eventually it'll sour the pool. That's kind of just how multiplayer shit goes. It seems to be like, unless it's PvE, Destiny kind of has that. And what's the other one? Warframe, stuff like that. Those are kind of,
and there is a scenario where it might have been a couple things, right? Considering how few copies were sold, it was like too expensive to keep the servers up for the number of people there.
It's possible.
Or it was just like, well, there's not enough people to like actually get matches going. One thing that I think would have been a very smart thing right off the bat that could have done wonders for it. And you would have had to kind of set this up beforehand anyway, or start it now. Give people some lead time. It's like, if you play Concord for the next 2 weeks, you're going to get all of these rewards in Helldivers too.
Oh yeah.
And vice versa, right? People would, there are Helldivers too, people who would play Concord. Well, the other thing is like, maybe like you should have put, like, sell it for sure, but maybe you should have put it on PS Plus for the first month, like Rocket League got.
Yeah.
And then sell it.
Yeah, that was a big takeoff for Rocket League. My sister, who doesn't give a shit about video games, texted me about playing Rocket League. That's how fucking big that game got, because it was you could get on
and
it.
It stayed big.
Yeah, and stayed big.
It didn't. Now that solution didn't work all that well for that car combat game that I liked.
Oh right.
I don't even remember the name of it. That was like a first year PS5 game.
Okay.
I looked at it in my library the other day. And I was like, right, that game. I don't even know if it's still being
forgot what it's called too. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, that they did that strategy there, and that one I don't think ever really took off. But there were things that could have helped Concord. I think a big part of it though is like character designs are just kind of boring.
Yeah.
And I have heard like a lot of, I don't know if it's actually like just speculation or if there's some truth behind it, that because the overall vibe of the game is very like old, like movie sci-fi.
Yes.
But the characters are going for this hyper realistic look that matches up with these like really expensive CG, character intro movies that they were like very, excited about.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, I bet there was a suit somewhere that was like, no, we need the graphics to be realistic. But if they had leaned into that aesthetic really hard, I'm thinking about like, that indie game on the PS4, like, Tower of Deadly Monsters, where they made like a lot of the enemies look like they were on strings.
Okay.
And there's actually a part where you find like you hear the director off camera telling you what to do and stuff like that. Okay. Like it's very much going for like a mid 60s sci-fi movie.
Right.
If you did something like that where it was like, that character just kind of looks like a man in a rubber suit.
Yeah.
And that character looks like a guy in like really bad movie makeup.
Right. That actually could kind of work. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. And you play up a really like, the announcer sounds like this, you know, like that type of thing. And you have, like hissing and popping in like the trailers and stuff like that. And there's stuff that you could do to give that game like a really distinct personality. Yeah. And it seems like they wanted to go there. And then at some point they got like, reined back and went in a different direction.
Hard to tell.
I could be completely wrong.
Hard to tell. It really is hard to tell. It's sad what happened, but
Yeah, I feel bad for those developers.
I do too.
And on a selfish level, it's like, well, I would rather that Sony focus on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm saying
single player, like
right there with you
stuff, because like I think that's been their most successful stuff for over a decade, and I'm constantly amazed at how many people who know better continue to say that like, oh, well, everything has to be multiplayer now. The biggest selling games, like almost every year, like clockwork, are like single player story driven games.
Yes and no, because Call of Duty is still the biggest one.
Right.
Yeah.
You almost have to take like Call of Duty and Madden out
Yeah.
of the equation because they are always going to,
Yeah,
you know, and also
yeah.
GTA Online. Those are always going to
Right.
be way up there. But, you know, when you're talking about the other stuff,
right.
like the unique stuff that comes out every year, it's like, no, like most of Sony's like first party single player stuff does like double digit millions in sales.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't know what to tell people.
Yeah.
Like, it's
I wonder if their reaction to the whole thing is they are trying to get out of multiplayer stuff now, and we're not going to do that anymore, because that becomes interesting when they had like Marathon or whatever coming out, however that's supposed to work.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Marathon either gets canceled outright or they tell Bungie, hey, put a single player campaign on
retool this thing and make it this. I mean, which is weird that it was a multiplayer thing to begin with, because if I remember right, it did have a campaign like the old one. I could be way off on that.
So I've never played Marathon. I'm
me
not
neither.
Sure if the original game had multiplayer. I thought it was just a single player.
That's what I always thought it was. Because it was like the early, like, it kind of had like the seeds of like, you know, what would become Halo in it, if I remember correct. Because I mean, obviously studio. Interesting to see what happens with that, unless they trust Bungie enough to make, you know, a thing like Destiny.
That
doesn't sound like them though, does it? Yeah,
that deal sounds just a debacle on all sides, and it sounds like the guy that was in that's like at the head of Bungie really pulled a fast one on Sony, probably in a way that sounds like he might do some time.
Oh, good.
But he's a CEO, so he probably won't.
Yeah,
but it sounds like he should. It sounds like he actually like, you know, committed like fraud as far as making them believe some numbers that just
good job. Correct. No, that's good. No, that's what you want.
Because the Destiny thing has always been weird to me, because like it never felt like those two games were ever like that successful. They did well.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it doesn't feel like they did the numbers that would result in everybody in the games industry trying to capture the Destiny magic, because I don't feel like there was any magic there.
Yeah.
I feel that it did solid, and then the second one did better, but also not Halo numbers.
No,
right?
No, nothing. That. Yeah, it was never that. I mean, I remember when they like kind of announced it. I didn't see the announcement or anything like that, because I wasn't really following games at that time. But I remember going into a GameStop, and I can't remember what I was there for, but I was there with somebody I was dating at the time, and this guy just been like, "Have you heard about Destiny?" And I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I have no idea. And they just went on about, it's the Halo people. I'm like, oh, that's cool. All right, I like Halo's cool. And then they just continue to go on about like all this cool shit that Destiny's gonna have. And I was like, oh man, this totally doesn't sound like anything I am interested in. But okay, that's cool, man. But it was one of those conversations where you're in it with somebody and you can tell they're super into what they're talking about, and you don't want to let them down by being like, I don't give a shit what you're saying to me. So you just let them go. And that was the deal. And then I remember like being like, all right, time for me to get back into video games, because the Magic the Gathering scene in my town that I moved back to is terrible. So let's go back into that. This is what I'm doing. And my PlayStation 4 that I got came with Destiny, because it's the white PlayStation 4. I got that one, and it came with it, and I was like, well, it came with it, I guess I'll play it at least once. And then I played it, and I was like, I don't really care about this. But I don't know. Everybody always seems to say that like the release Destiny was like pretty disappointing, and then it got better.
Yeah, I remember that at the time.
Yeah.
One of the big things was Peter Dinklage got a lot of flack for playing the companion cube. I forget what it's called.
I forget. It was a little bot that followed you around or whatever the fuck, yeah.
It was a weird casting choice anyway, because like if it was going to be this ongoing thing they planned on supporting for 10 years, you're not getting Peter Dinklage to come back constantly to record more dialogue.
Right.
Because your character doesn't talk.
Right.
So that's like your thing.
Your voice. Yeah, it's your Cortana kind of. That's what they were going for, but yeah. Yeah, boy. It's I don't know. It's weird. But I mean, people liked it, obviously. And which sets you up for Destiny 2. And when that came out, I remember it was talked about a lot, and then all of a sudden people turned
and all the
on
expansions.
It. Yeah.
Well, so Destiny 2 got into like it ended up very much becoming, I think, even more of an MMO than they anticipated.
Yeah.
In the sense that new expansion comes out, everybody's super hyped for it, they play it, and then continue to shit on the new expansion until the next one comes out.
That's about right. Yeah.
Yeah. What happens is that a lot of the talk around Destiny 2 is largely negative, but people keep playing it.
Yes.
Like an MMO.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're not into it, they never could seem to bring people that weren't playing it back. That's what I always felt like.
Oh yeah. Well, I tried a few years ago because it was on Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you know what? Because I had played the demo for Destiny 2 and I really loved the opening of that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me give it a shot. And then like because they had also mashed like Destiny 1's beginning into Destiny. Like they did some weird shit. And basically what it ended up being is like it was not that opening that I played in the demo anymore. It was the opening to Destiny 1 again.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, once I got to like the hub area, it was just like it was like trying to play Warframe. It was just like a bajillion things on the screen all of a sudden.
Oh boy.
Pulling you in a million different directions, no idea what to do next. And as I understand it, the onboarding just got worse from there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So just fuck anybody new trying to play this. Yeah. Unless you know somebody who plays it and they're gonna hold your hand through it, then get fucked. Yeah. That's good. That's what you want.
Yeah. Obviously, everybody should be trying to emulate that. That's what you need to do.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how. I'm curious about how Marathon will go with the whole Concord thing, though. That's going to be interesting.
I'm curious about that because even Helldivers 2 feels like a thing where, I mean, Jim Ryan was still there at the beginning of the year, but I'm sure that there would have already been talks about him transitioning over, or leaving. So I'm sure that there were other people in the know that were like, no, we don't care about this thing coming out. But then it blew up in a way that no one anticipated. And so then they're like, well, fuck. I don't think they had a plan for it or whatever.
Probably not.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. But then at the same time, it's like, but what single player stuff do you have? We know that Naughty Dog is working on at least 2 things, but we don't know what they are.
They got the Wolverine.
I'm really worried that it's just another Uncharted and just another Last of Us instead of something new.
Yeah.
We know that Sucker Punch is working on something. It's probably Ghost of Tsushima 2.
Probably.
I would just like it confirmed because I would like a sequel to it, but like I'd just like to know that that's actually the thing.
Where do you go in a sequel to that game though?
Somewhere else.
Okay, yeah, sure. Just a different. I mean, he's the Ghost of Tsushima, but he goes to a different place.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair. All right. Sure. I'm in.
Yeah.
That sounds fine.
You can't get rid of the name; it's too evocative.
Yeah.
But you have that character go somewhere else.
Okay.
And be a ghost somewhere else. And then you mentioned the Wolverine game.
Wolverine.
And I think it's pretty much confirmed they're working on Spider-Man 3.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's kind of almost a gimme.
And I don't know. I think they're still a 2-game studio, so that's them.
Okay. Who else do they got?
Sony Santa Monica.
Right.
Which
God of War.
Right. And it's hard to know because they did say that Ragnarok was like kind of the end of that.
Yeah.
story.
Hard to know where that goes.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that's maybe they're doing something different before they go back to it.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Guerrilla.
Yeah. That was
doing Horizon 3. Which I do want, but
I
feel bad for Guerrilla because they were in the Killzone mines.
Yeah.
And then they were like, hey, let us do something new. And they were like, well, okay. And then it ended up being super successful, and now they're in the Horizon mines.
Yeah.
Which, I'm conflicted on because I do love that series, but at the same time, but what if they also got to do a third new thing?
Yeah. I don't know.
Because clearly they're very talented people. They went from a grim, dark sci-fi FPS series to this super colorful post-apocalypse, like sci-fi action RPG. Like, goddamn, that's a pivot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know what the hell they got. What else they're gonna do? Maybe they'll do something. Maybe they won't. It's weird. We'll find out.
I think you could say that of like anybody, anywhere, at any.
That's
given
why
time
I said
for
it.
anything.
Yeah. Maybe they'll do something. Maybe they won't.
Yeah.
Hard to know. Who can say? Yeah.
Who can say?
Yeah.
Well, Justin,
Yep.
we do not have questions, comments, and concerns this week.
Okay.
If you would like to send questions, comments, and concerns, dear listeners, there's many ways that you can do so. You can email us. The email address is thestageselectpod@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can DM us on Twitter at stageselectpod. You can comment on our YouTube channel. If you're a patron, you can comment on the episode posts on Patreon. You can also join our Discord, and there is a place for questions, comments, and concerns in there. And all of that also applies to if you have a question for Sherwin Williams.
No.
And we do have quite a few questions for Sherwin Williams this week.
Oh,
Justin.
man. Oh, okay. I gotta.
Is he around?
Yeah, I gotta. Hold on. I gotta find the button though. We gotta, because that's the only way he'll show up.
Okay. Oh God.
So
shit.
it's gonna be a whole thing. We might press the wrong button like 5 times. Oh man, what button is it? I think it might be this one. Chill. Nope, that's not it. That was the 311 button. The 311 minute 311 is they own a computer. All of them.
Okay. Very, very, very good fact about
Yeah, that's your 311 fact for the week. Thank you for listening.
Ask Sherwin Williams.
Yo, what up? How's it going?
Sorry, Sherwin. I thought Justin was trying to end the 311 minute and messed up the button. Gonna have to remind him to add to the 311 minute tally later, but
yeah,
you don't have to worry about that. It's good to see you,
I don't
man.
know what the hell that is, but all right, cool. What's up, man?
Yeah, no, it's fine. Hey, I noticed that a new Sherwin Williams location is going to be moving into my neighborhood, so congratulations on the expansion.
Yeah, we out here. You know how we do.
Yeah. I was excited to see it.
Right.
I was like, man, I can't wait to talk to Sherwin again and let him know.
We out here. We gonna color your block. You know,
Mm-hmm.
paint the town red. You know how we is.
Yeah.
We got apps and shit. You can download them shits and like, it'll use like some shit and you can like paint the room and stuff. And you can look at what color you want to pick. You be like, that beige though, and yeah, you know how apps work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds
On
good.
the phone and shit.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
You should talk to my dad actually about.
Yo,
about
hey
that
man,
and
hey, I heard about that. Yo, hey man, let that play. Come on now.
Fair enough.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was extra disturbing because like just kind of the way that his sexy text was very similar to the way that I sexy text.
All right. Well,
and like I already have too many similarities with my dad.
Right.
Like than I would care to admit.
Well. All right.
Well, Sherwin, we do have quite a few questions for you this week.
All right.
Starting with Dennis75.
All right.
Oh man, I already know how this is going to go.
Okay.
Hey Sherwin, if you could choose a new color for a lightsaber, one that has not been used before in the past, what color would you choose for a lightsaber for yourself, Julian, Justin, and your nemesis Matt? Also, please rank the colors of the current lightsabers and your additional new colors. I really think you are great at ranking things and look forward to more in the future. A handy guide below. And so the colors that have been used on lightsabers so far are blue,
All right.
green, red, purple, black, white, and yellow.
The fuck is this nerd shit, man?
Yeah, it's a thing.
All right, man. All right.
Just focus on the colors.
All right,
don't worry
okay,
so much
all right.
about the nerd part
All right,
of it.
man. Oh shit. Okay. All right. Yo, what's all right? So a lightsaber like a sword. Fuck.
Yeah.
All right. You swing that shit around, cut motherfuckers up. All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
I would have like a red one. That sounds cool.
Well, Dennis wants you to pick like new colors for
I gotta pick new
yourself,
ones.
me, Justin, and Matt. Yeah, like ones that aren't on this list.
That's like
And then
that's like all the fucking colors though, man. How the fuck? Like they covered most of them. Like
there's more colors than that. Come on, you know better.
But that's a lot of colors though.
It is.
That's all like the good ones. What am I gonna make a turquoise one?
You could.
All right. Turquoise would be all right. Okay. Yeah.
I wouldn't mind that.
Like all right, like a sky blue. I'd rock that. Like a real light blue.
Okay.
Unless it's already light blue. I don't really know what it looks like. I ain't seen this shit.
It's kind of a light blue.
Oh, all right.
honestly.
Well, what about like a dark blue then?
I don't think they've done a dark blue.
All right, dark
Yeah.
blue. All right, like a royal blue, right? Okay.
Okay.
All right. What about
So that's for you.
what about like a maroon?
Okay.
Okay.
You could have it with 5 blades, and it could be the Maroon 5 lightsaber.
That's pretty good. I see what you did there. That's all right. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
So I get a little worried sometimes.
I got to make you sweat it a little bit, you know. Okay. Did I pick enough of them?
I mean, also for one for Justin and one for your nemesis Matt.
Oh, okay. Well, gray for Justin,
Okay.
and he gets a brown lightsaber. I mean, of course. Come on now.
Sure.
Yeah. The
Okay.
shit lightsaber.
No, yeah, I got what you were going
Yeah.
for.
Like a toilet.
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Skibbity.
Okay.
Then Dennis would like you to rank them if possible.
Okay. Black on top, of course. Come on now. Purple underneath that. That's all right. Let's see. Blue's all right. Oh, wait. Red after that. Blue after that. Green after that. Yellow after that. White on the bottom. There you go.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. What else?
Asked and answered.
Yeah. What else you got?
Anyone 2643 says, "Hey Sherwin,
Mhm.
is amber the color of your energy? Also, what are your top 5 songs about colors?"
I don't know what. No, black is the color of my energy, man. What the fuck you talking about? That's just weird. I don't even. What is that a reference to something I don't get? What is this?
It's a song by someone. I don't actually know who did it.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
Well,
I know that line from the song.
Okay.
That's about all I know.
I got to think of 5 songs with colors in them. That's hard, man. That's hard. That's a lot of
Yeah,
songs.
I don't know if I know 5 colors with songs in them. And I probably do if I think really hard.
Yeah, songs with colors in them. You mean, right?
Yeah.
You said colors with songs in them. That'd be something.
Oh man, well, I'm not high enough for that.
I thought I maybe misspoke, and I was checking myself. All right. Hold up. You know what? That's what we got phones for, right? Let's type in songs with colors in them.
It's definitely for that, and not weird group texts with your family.
That's right. All right. Purple Rain. That's a good one. All right. Purple Rain, pretty good. That's that Prince. That's that fire right there. Painted Black. All right. I can get behind that. Shit. That's another one. Let's see what else we got. A lot of songs about black. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, Black and Yellow. All right. Yeah. I forgot about that. That'd be in there. There's a song just called Red. I don't know what the fuck that is. Purple Haze. Oh, there we go. All right. Yeah. Yeah. That's in there. So we got Painted Black, Purple Haze, Purple Rain. A lot of songs about purple. I ain't gonna lie to you. Let's see. What was the other one I mentioned? I forgot. Black and Yellow. All right. Picking the last one. That's gonna be tough. I'm just going off the initial list that I see right here. Oh boy. All these other songs.
No Love for Yellow by Coldplay. That would be my pick.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that would be your pick. I ain't gonna lie to you. That sounds like it would be your pick. All right, Elton John. Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Fuck it. That's about a road that's yellow. Fuck it. We'll go with that. Okay. That's on the very bottom.
There you go.
There are other ones that aren't really about colors, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's hard to say that any song is really about colors. Except for
True.
Colors by Ice-T. Now, if we consider that would actually take the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road spot. All right, so Colors by Ice-T. That's about gangs and shit, but that's real.
Okay, it's about colors.
You can't say it ain't.
No, I get it. No, yeah, I'm not going to.
Yeah,
I wouldn't dare.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next up from Poultrygeist Game, not a question so much as a statement. He just says, "I can't believe you're pretending your sister Merkin Williams doesn't exist. Sad."
I don't know what he's talking about. What does that even mean?
Because last time you said you didn't have a sister.
Oh, right.
When someone asked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
Okay, well, Poultrygeist Game is saying that you do. I don't know.
If he's got evidence of this, then I'd be willing to sit down and look at it, but I think he's just on drugs. That's what I think.
Very possible.
I can sense it.
Actually confirmed.
I mean, look, I feel it, I get him. I get where he's, I mean, I might be on them too right now. You don't know me.
Yeah. I feel I know less about you every
that's
time.
About
honestly,
right. That's about right.
Yeah, you're a mysterious motherfucker.
That's thank you. That's the best compliment I got in a long time. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah. All right, and last but certainly not least, from a new participant recently joined our Discord. Thank you very much.
All right.
Dr. Delicious says, "Hey Sherwin, assuming I have a 10-foot by 10-foot square room with 8-foot ceilings, how many gallons of accessible beige would I need to buy to bang your lady?"
That's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. Yo, hey, listen. All right, I know you trying to go hard right now. I know you trying to do some shit. All right, but listen, I need you to understand something. Yo, I respect that. That's funny. That's ballsy. That's ballsy. See, Matt always go. He be going hard, right? You know how he does. Mm-hmm. But yo, this motherfucker just put it out there. Like he had a curveball in there. That's some shit right there, man. I'm gonna tell you, I respect this. You gonna need a lot of gallons, motherfucker, because you gotta get through me. So remember
Fair
that.
Enough.
Well,
all right. Thank you, Sherwin. That's all we got for you this time.
All right. Well, I'll see y'all later.
All
Yo,
right.
hey, if anybody comes asking, I wasn't here. You remember that, right?
No, I remember.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Were sealed.
All right. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
There was like a officer that came by the auditorium the other day. Didn't say a thing.
That's what that's right. You my boy. That's right. All right. I'm out. Okay.
Ask Sherwin Williams.
Yeah, he came in and I couldn't finish the 3:11 minutes. So hold on.
Chill.
There you go.
Okay.
It's done now. That was a long 3:11 minute.
Yeah, well,
several
it was
minutes
the longest
actually.
one so far.
But here we are.
Don't forget to add it to the tally because I know that wasn't a planned 3:11 minute.
No, it wasn't, but it counts all the same.
Yes.
I like how I didn't make it up as a real fact. But
they're all real facts.
I know.
Yeah,
but
that's the beauty of the 3:11.
Yeah, but I just looked at a thing that was nearby and said that. Those are the best facts.
About, but...
Okay.
Yep.
Well.
All right.
Remember that?
I think that's a show, Justin.
Remember that time when Mason Diddy got on stage and he wore that shirt that said, "I don't care about your feelings," and everybody was real upset about it. But Mason Diddy didn't care. He just got on there and sang a song about drugs, probably.
No, yeah. He was kind of ahead of his time with that.
He had a lot of songs about drugs, you know.
Well, that too, yeah.
Big Hank Williams Jr. follower, but he was more into, like, you know, cocaine.
I mean, who wasn't back then?
It was what you did in the 90s, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good old Mason
Also
Diddy.
the 70s. Man.
A lot of the times, you know.
I'm glad that we took an episode to extol the virtues of Mason Diddy, because I feel that he's a legend lost to time.
You know, I'm inspired now, and you know, I might have to write my top 10 Mason Diddy moments and share them with the listeners at some point. You know, you never know.
Yeah.
It could be that time where he wore that shirt. You know the shirt.
Maybe. No, yeah. Ooh.
That shirt.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Maybe around Halloween we could like get a Ouija board and try to contact the ghost.
We could try.
Mason Diddy.
Why not? You know, it's worth a shot.
Yeah.
You know,
nothing ever goes wrong when you use a Ouija
I'm sure
board.
it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't believe in ghosts anyway, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, you know, the thing about ghosts, Justin, is that they don't care if you believe in them or not.
Yeah, because they don't exist.
I think that's a show, Justin.
That's the show. Yeah, that's the show. That's all we got.
You can find us on the internet, Justin.
You can find me at Tyrone_Swift on Twitter.com, a website that I'm still a part of and look at every now and then. I will respond to things on there if you send them to me. You can find me on twitch.tv/TyroneSwift, streaming games usually every Saturday. What am I going to stream now? I don't know. I usually plan it out maybe an hour before I go on, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it does not. And also Tyrone Swift TV on YouTube, where you can find all the old shit that I did on just streaming, not all the other things, but you get it.
Yes. You can find me on Twitter at Julian_Titus. Once again, the show is at Stage Select Pod. Don't forget to check out the friends that I mentioned at the top of the show. All of their stuff will be in the as links in the show notes for this episode. Our theme song is thanks as always to the wonderful Megan McDuffie for our theme song and interstitial tracks. Thanks to friend of the show John Gholson for being our announcer and providing us with our wonderful logo. But that's going to do it for this edition of the Stage Select. I've been Julian Titus. He's been Justin Ham. We've been the Stage Select. Signing off.
The Stage Select is copyrighted and owned by Space Monkey Mafia Productions, specializing in independent podcasting. Please consider sharing the show with your friends and support us by joining our Patreon or donating to our coffee. Thank you, and good night.